Yep, nice and easy. We're done with that though.
Isn't the jump rope? Yeah. Whenever I skip rope, I can't use these wireless headphones. They fall right out of my ears. So of course, it would be helpful if I could get the rope itself not to fall out of my hands. Finish my protein shake and then we'll hit this. New name, who this? Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know me, my name is BullMuscle. For those of you who know me as Beer Battered Aggie, yes, I'm going through a rebrand. This seems like a pretty good time to talk about that, so let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm a die-hard Aggie.
The eyes of Texas are upon you. That is the song they sing so well. Sounds like hell! So goodbye to Texas University. We're gonna beat you all to chiggeroo-de-rim, rock tough, real stuff, Texas A&M. Goodbye.
We get a little bit more all. So why can't I click all? Oh, yeah, there it goes. Nice. Alright, let's do one more bronze bar. If you adopt the mindset, and this is a quote from Jacob Fisker of Early Retirement Extreme, if you know that guy, 10 points to you. But it's a quote that I find unbelievably poignant in today's era. Spending money represents a failure to solve one's problems by smarter means. I'm gonna repeat that. Spending money represents a failure to solve one's problems by smarter means. That's painful. But yes, my friends, pure protein, as theirs makes no difference, from raw egg whites. It's disgusting, the taste is vile, and it smells, but 100, yeah, my poor roommate has to deal with the farts that come from this, and as you might imagine, they're not pleasant. But let me go ahead and knock this bad boy down. Oh, that's vile.
Yep, nice and easy. We're done with that though.
Isn't the jump rope? Yeah. Whenever I skip rope, I can't use these wireless headphones. They fall right out of my ears. So of course, it would be helpful if I could get the rope. Good morning, Twitch. It is Saturday, and we have a great show for you. How y'all doing? Welcome on in. I'm your host, BullMuscle. We're gonna go ahead, we'll get started. Today, on our wonderful fitness journey, we have a press day. So, I'm gonna be really working the delts, shoulders, gonna be hitting that pretty hard. Gonna do a couple other bodybuilding exercises, but it's primarily going to be a day for the delts. So we're gonna start there. Start with some jump rope. Good morning, Severus. Welcome on in. How you doing? How you doing? Sorry about the slightly late start. Had to fix the ballast light up there again. Thing, for whatever reason, has a mind of its own. So if randomly you guys just see it cut out above me, that's why. So. Good enough. Delicate Navarre, welcome on in. Big Game Mikey, welcome on in. Talio, ENB, good to see you. ENB and I were having an interesting conversation right before this workout started. Good morning, Understanding One. Halford, welcome on in. Wow, all right, we had an active audience this morning. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Suddenly jump rope is my favorite exercise, no comment. Okay, so one nice thing about these Twitch updates is now I have that content warning. I can do that and not have to worry about, anyway. Final question for you. How many golden retriever puppies could you take in a fight? Why don't you just take a giant dagger and stick it right through my sternum? Man, some of y'all are fucking unhinged. Get help. That's it. Y'all are fucked up. That's it. I mean, if my life fucking depended on it, probably like a dozen or so, but dude, like, what the fuck? What is with y'all? What is with y'all making me fight things that you're not supposed to fight? What kind of monster do y'all think I am? Y'all need help. I'm not sure I'm capable of giving it to you. Sure, why not? Heard Twitch pulled back their TOS update. Wait, they did? Understood. Goodbye. I'm telling y'all, man. Okay, so I made, Cat Bro, if you can pull it up, I made a political compass meme post about different people in my Twitch audience, and we've been getting weird combos a lot recently. Hey Rubisco, good to see you. Yes, that is my Discord. If you guys like my stuff, you guys like my content, and you want more, that's where I hang out most of the time. So 100%, 100%. But Halford, yeah, if Twitch pulled back their TOS update, that would certainly be something I'd like to know. It does not sound like they're handling it very well. Anyway, so what do we got on the agenda for today? Today, we've got, there you go. So that Reddit link there is a political compass meme of my, of different people on this, the different types of people I've met that come to my stream. Y'all might enjoy that. I think you'll notice a couple different people in there. I just realized I put on the wrong pair of shoes. These are runners. I need my chucks, because if I'm going to do press, I want a flat standing so I don't have to worry about balance. So that's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of just a couple air squats to warm up. Just kind of get the blood flowing a little bit more. I'm still a little bit cold. It's not quite as cold in here today, I think, as it was yesterday. Feels like it's about 50 out. So that'd be my guess. It was maybe 45 in here yesterday to start. So, I'll check that while I'm warming up. Change some TOS changes, not at all, mainly over nudity. Okay, cool. Yeah, Understanding One, can you put the most recent change in my Discord, in the ideas and feedback channel, and ping me? I would be really appreciative if you would. You'd be so kind to do that. That'd be a huge help. Okay, so survey says, yep, it is 53 degrees out, which for those of you who live in metric, that's about 11.5 C. Where am I on the compass? Hey, Tally, thank you very much for the 3-stream streak. Give me just one moment, y'all. I just realized I put on the wrong shoes. I'm gonna go get the others. There we go, much better. So, why does this matter? I'll explain. These knockoff, actually, Chuck Taylors have a flat foot, whereas these runners have a lot more cushion, a lot more spring. So, to preserve the integrity of my running shoes, you don't want to lift in them where you're putting a heavy load straight on them, which with a standing press you do. more JoJo, good to see you. Where am I on the compass? I think you'd be in the long-time followers one. You guys have, because yeah, you've been watching me. Ian B, you're one of the OGs. You, Metal Machine, y'all were the people watching me even before I was doing fitness. So if you're from the pre-fitness era on my Twitch, you're one of like the first 10% of people that ever followed me. So I think that's where you would be, ENB. Now, ENB and I were having a really interesting conversation before I had to start the stream because it was 9 a.m. And it was, so here in the South, in the Deep South, we have a term called Thank God for Mississippi. And for those of you who don't know, the reason this term exists is because if you look at pretty much every development index or economic index, you have all the southern states are usually kind of clustered together, especially the Deep South, so Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Arkansas, Louisiana, and then usually Mississippi is at the bottom. So all the southern states, a lot of the times, like education rates, HDI rates, life expectancy, a lot of the Deep South is usually the bottom 5 to bottom 10 spots. And very, very often Mississippi is 50th. So the phrase "Thank God for Mississippi" exists because Mississippi exists to distract people from the fact that your insert southern state here was like 45th or 48th or whatever. Yeah, Pokemon Crystal. So what were you doing before fitness? Pokemon Crystal, Railroad Tycoon. I mean, I still do gaming streams every so often. In fact, I was thinking about playing Railroad Tycoon tomorrow because I saw a really interesting scenario on the Hawk and Badger, which is the Hawk and Badger website, which is like a Railroad Tycoon fan site where they make a bunch of different alternate scenarios. There's a really interesting Civil War one that I might do, and yes, I would play as the South, even though the Confederacy was a really fucking stupid idea. I don't know. I could be the rare Southerner who supported the Union. Might come down to see some fraud tomorrow. Ha! Yes. Notice my day-to-day shoes give me knee pain after wearing them for at least 1 to 2 years. You might want to switch them out if that's the case, Talio. Anyway, so the whole conversation was, well, the North kind of has their Mississippi. It's the one northern state that routinely underperforms the rest of the states in the region, and it's Indiana, which is why every time I've said it, and every single Midwesterner I've mentioned that to is like, oh my God, you're right. So Indiana is Yankee, Mississippi. Oh, you don't need to make that well, actually, you know what? That's actually a pretty good command. Fuck it, yeah, throw that bad boy in there. Although if you're gonna do that, can you link it to the comments section? Because that way, people can make comments easier instead of just showing the image. But yeah, no, I'm serious. If you are from the Midwest, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Indiana isn't y'all's Mississippi. I mean, seriously, everyone. I've had Michiganders tell me, holy shit, you're right. Ohio, by saying that, I've made Michiganders and Ohioans agree on something. Even they both agree, they're like, holy shit, yeah, Indiana's our Mississippi. Like, seriously, and I did that during the game week. Right, so Michigan and anyone from Michigan and anyone from Ohio are doing this. I mentioned Yankee, Mississippi as a concept, and they both stopped and said, "Okay, I hate agreeing with him, but you're right." Gary, Indiana alone. Oh man. Okay, so anyway, but I think I figured out the way the rest of it works. First off, Ohio is Yankee, Florida, and I refuse to elaborate further on this. And here's how I know. Ohio is Yankee, Florida, because, the reason Florida has its reputation is America's id, and really by America's id, I mean America's penis, is not just the topographical shape, but it's because you always hear the story, the wackiest shit comes from Florida. It's not, man commits murder in Florida. It's man commits murder, with a greased up rubber chicken, after, I don't know, having intercourse with a gator or something like that. It's Florida. You know what I'm talking about. Weird-ass Florida shit. the Midwestern equivalent to that, or the Northern equivalent to that, is always fucking Ohio for some reason. There's nothing wrong with Ohio, but Ohio seems to have a little bit of that wild streak that Florida has. Yeah, exactly. Florida man chokes out alligator and then himself or something like that. You get the point. But I figured this out, so bear with me on this one. I'm pretty sure if Ohio is Yankee Florida and Indiana is Yankee Mississippi, that must mean that Yankee Alabama is Michigan. And I think that makes the most sense. And it must mean that Yankee Georgia is Illinois. And here's why I think Yankee Georgia is Illinois. The politics are dominated by one massive city, a couple of other smaller cities that tend to agree with the way the big city runs things, and then you have what's called Illinois, or if you know what I'm talking about. You have Chicagoland, and then you have Illinois. You're out in the boonies of Illinois are a lot like the boonies of Georgia, which is where they filmed Deliverance. I think that's my theory. Ian B, you're a proud resident of the land of Lincoln. Tell me if I'm on base with that or not. Okay, so on to the workout, because I'm fucking stalling here and I need to actually get going. Today's press, and I was watching my film from my press workout last week, and I could not stand my form. It was terrible. So, what we're going to do is we're going to change things up a bit, really focus on form today. To do that, I'm going to start with, I'm going to bring you guys a bit closer, because to explain this properly, y'all have to be able to see the form. Chicago dominates Illinois politics in the same way that Atlanta dominates Georgia politics, or at least is attempting to. Okay, so I'm going to bring you guys in a bit further. Just wondering what Wisconsin is. Wisconsin's been a tough one for me to figure out. I think Wisconsin is Yankee Tennessee because they're both really well known for alcohol production. Beer versus whiskey, but the point remains. I've got Minnesota. Minnesota is Yankee Louisiana because they both speak with really funny accents. The difference is Louisiana, and they both have exceptional food. Louisiana's food is exceptionally good, and Minnesota thinks a tater tot hot dish is an acceptable thing to bring to a potluck. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about press for a minute. I promise we'll get back to this Yankee versus Southern analogy, but so we're talking about the press. Now the press is designed to be a shoulder movement. Now with the press, you want to lock out at the top. I wasn't doing that last time. You want to have a thumbless grip instead of a hook grip. I was using a hook grip last time, and that was making it harder on my wrists. It's making it harder on elbow placement. So we're going to fix that. The other thing I was doing is my elbows were canted a bit, like this. Also not what we want. We want our elbows to really be pretty much vertical. We want it to be perpendicular with the bar. So these are all a bunch of cues I was missing or doing incorrectly last week. I'm going to try and fix this week. And finally, if we go right, what we want to do is we want to have our elbows almost sort of a couple inches forward of the bar, but resting on our lats. So, almost kind of have your lats spread, have your elbows resting on them. And then when you push up, the bar should be, I know it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but the bar should be, should finish slightly behind the center of gravity. So when you're locking out up here, it should be like this instead of like this. Anyway, so you explode through. What this is doing is making the travel of motion a lot more vertical. And by the way, the Georgia and Tennessee analogy for Illinois and for Wisconsin works really well because in the same way that the Bears fans and the Packers fans hate each other, ask a Dogs fan how they feel about the Volunteers and you'll get some expletive-laden responses. So that one's pretty good. Yankee comes from a derogatory term used to label Dutch settlers. in New Amsterdam. Well, I didn't know where it comes from. That's very interesting. I will say Yankee is derogatory, and I mean it in a derogatory way. The South is the best part of the country. Fight me. Even though I may not necessarily be living here in 2024, but that's a different conversation. There we go. Wonder it's not formatting it as a link. No, the Reddit, that's exactly how it should be right there. That's perfect, the way you've got it, Mikey. That's good. The panhandle of it is much different than the rest of it. Yes. Okay, so let's actually, so we're as fun as this conversation is, I actually do need to begin my workout eventually. That's kind of that's the whole reason y'all are here, right? So let's do that. We'll continue the conversation, but so I'm gonna stick with the weight I was doing last time, which was 135. I don't believe this is particularly difficult, but the focus is really going to be on form for this. Okay, how do you explain the population growth in Idaho, Montana, and South Dakota? Well, Idaho and Montana is really easy. It's because California is a shithole. That one's explainable. South Dakota, South Dakota is a bit of a question mark. But the fastest growing states are not those. The fastest growing states are, first off, South Carolina, actually. Both Carolinas. North Carolina is growing very quickly too. Tennessee is growing really quickly. Alabama is actually growing really fast. And Georgia continues to grow very quickly. Low cost of living is probably, I did not realize South Dakota was growing really fast. I know in the first half of the 2010s, North Dakota's population was booming because of the discovery of oil in Williston, the dawn of fracking, but then oil prices went off a cliff in the second half of the 2010s and North Dakota's population growth slowed. North Dakota is advanced level toughness though. I have respect for any North Dakotans that show up in the stream because if you've been to North Dakota, you understand it is, I used to live in Nebraska a long time ago. And Nebraska winters are fucking brutal. But Nebraska's summers are also fucking brutal. North Dakota is that on advanced mode. Like, if you're living in North Dakota, you just gotta be a tough motherfucker. Weather just can't faze you. Okay. So let's actually get started on this. Otherwise I'm never, the workout's never gonna get completed at this rate. Okay, let's go. Make sure that, no, that's not it. There we go. No. Okay, so that's annoying. For some reason it says my headphones are connected, even though my headphones are clearly not connected. There we go. I think I got it now. Perfect. All right. So we're up for 10 here. Again, we're going to try and use the cues properly. I want to be locking out at the top. Come on, strong like bull. Okay. Locking out at the top makes that a lot tougher. So yeah, 135 is definitely enough. It's more expensive to live in Montana than Salt Lake now. Stupid ass Yellowstone. Oof. I feel like if you go to Billings, it's not nearly as bad. Yeah, no, those felt really good. Southern states are more friendly to corporations, so you allow large companies to build plants at Dixieland. Well, the biggest part of it is that southern states aren't unionized. Unions, in general, are a good thing. Do you have a side camera? No, but I can give you a side angle on the next set. Yeah, I'll give you a side angle on the next set. That's a good idea. And there's oil refineries, it's awful. Dude, I lived in College Station for 4 years. Oil and gas industry runs that fucking city. Same thing with Houston. I mean, Houston is, well, there's a reason Cancer Alley exists. That's all I'm gonna say. And it runs straight through fucking Houston. If you want to live in that nastiness, hell no, I don't. But if you do, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a better city in America to make your fortune than Houston, Texas. I don't want to live there, but if you want to make money, you will not do better than Houston. Especially if you're working oil and gas, but Houston's got a space industry, right? NASA JSC is there. It's got anything out to, sea, ocean industry. You've got really great medical centers there. You've got a huge, huge service industry. Crazy. Dude, Houston's, so definitely if you're gonna visit Houston, do it in winter. Because Houston in the summer has the weather of armpit. Houston in the spring has the weather of armpit, and Houston doesn't really get a fall. Yeah, actually, that's what I'm gonna do for this next set. That's a good idea, Yemby. I'm gonna have you guys form check me. I like that. And, again, right? If I'm 10 repping this, and I'm 10 repping this nice and slow, there's more strength to be had here, but I need to fix the deficiencies in my press form before I start adding weight. And that's gonna take a couple reps, or that's gonna take a couple sets. It's gonna take practice, it's gonna take clips showing that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm really getting the full range of motion that I should be. So what I was doing last week was I was going with a hook grip. Right now I'm doing a thumbless grip, which is better. A hook grip, right? It was meaning I was more doing this, right? I was kind of almost sort of leaning back and punching it up, and it was staying in front of my head, which is not what you want to be doing. But yeah, no, Houston is it's a great place to live if you want to make money. All right, so we're gonna unplug and move you guys to the side angle just for now. All right, there we go. Now, ENB, this is smart. This is a good idea. All right, looks good. There we go. Okay, yeah, y'all should be able to tell from there. Awesome. Need another set, or I need another song, music. The occasion is Snow's barbecue. Well, now Snow's is not in Houston. Lexington, Texas is a completely different place, but damn it. There we go. Oh, fuck off, TikTok. It's funny. TikTok's starting to post advertisements saying, see, we're the good guys, you know, we're not doing anything wrong, we're trying to make society a better place. Bullshit. Your Chinese Communist Party social engineering. Anybody with half a brain should stay the fuck away from you. Here we go. I felt pretty good. Felt like I was locking out top end. How'd that look? Yeah, no. TikTok is CCP, social engineering, brain rot. Look clean? Awesome. I'll take a look at it later. I got 2 more of those, and then we got behind the neck presses. Actually, we got a full slate of shit to do. I got 2 more sets of that, 3 sets of behind the neck press, 3 sets of a wide grip shoulder press. That'll be tough. Then we got lat raises, skull crushers, Arnold presses, shoulder flies, vertical flies, and dumbbell tricep extensions. So that's gonna be good. A lot of body build, so the 70s powerlifter workout that I'm on only suggests like 4 sets of bodybuilding work after you've done your main set and your variations, and that's just not enough volume for me. So at least at the present time, you know, as I get to the 5-set workouts, I may change my tune a bit, but I'm adding more bodybuilding stuff. And I think what's happened is because I've done super squats and because my own training regimen, you know, the push-pull leg split that I normally do is fairly high volume, a lot of conventional workouts seem kind of easy at this point. I'm not trying to brag, but, you know. Anyway, all right. I'm going to do another set on this. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a diagonal view. I want to see if maybe this is a worthwhile view. Tell me what y'all think. See, let me know if this view is worth, you know, throwing in there every so often. All right, yeah, should see. Good. Let's do this. Come on, strong like ball. I'm on. Not bad. What do y'all think? Your back looks intimidating. A little lat spread. I'm trying to really work on breathing in, getting a good volume of air into my rib cage before starting the set. It's much like a squat, you have that weight pushing down on you. You got gravity working against you on this more than your average, a lot of average workouts. You're fighting gravity by sending it vertical. So you gotta account for that. All right, so I'm gonna plug you guys back in. There we go. Nice. So you got one more of those, then we're gonna move to behind the neck press. I think the side view is better for checking center of gravity. Good to know. All right, I'll probably throw you guys back over to the side view for behind the neck. I'll throw a march or die by Motorhead on there. Unless, what do you guys think? You think it's worth throwing you guys on side view for the final set? Your traps are popping today? Good to know. I will hit traps a little bit today. Not a ton, but a little bit. That'll be, we're gonna go through our variations first. That'll be the bodybuilding. Okay. All right. I'll give you guys a side view again. Hey, M. Lennon, good to see you. Welcome on in. Welcome to the bullpen. How you doing? Having a good Saturday? All right, so we'll throw you guys back over. It's kind of nice that I'm able to move the angle around a bit. Would be nice to have a second camera set up, but that's not particularly feasible. Just got my coffee for the day. Oh, all right. How cold is it up there in New England? It's pretty nice here. It's in the 50s right now. It'll get warmer as the day goes along. I think the high might creep into the 60s today, which is about normal. I think the average high for my town in December is 60 on the nose. So about 45 right now. We got into the 20s this past week. Yikes. Well, I mean, it's December in New England. It's supposed to be that cold. That's not, that's nothing out of the ordinary. Last set on shoulder press. Because I've done 3 sets, haven't I? Yeah. 28 here. Oof. My southern ass don't like that shit. Although, there's now a chance that I may have to deal with colder temps come next year. We'll see. I don't know what the odds are yet, but we'll see. All right, here we go. Come on. Come on. Macho die. Faith is in the sky. Not bad. That felt pretty clean. Onyx, good to see you. Yeah, Puget is on the agenda. It's either Puget, Pearl, or here. Those are the three options in 2024. The earliest I will probably, move, if I do, would be March 1st of 24. Yeah, 45 isn't bad in December. Especially since it's not even that far into the day yet. All right. So we're gonna do a behind the neck press. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is you're starting behind the neck, so it's working a slightly different part of your deltoids. So standard military press, we're really gonna hit the front part of our delts, right? Right here, right here. Behind the neck press is still gonna hit the delts. It's gonna be, a little bit back here. Puget's pretty mild. Yeah, okay, so, Bremerton, it's gonna be 40 degrees and rainy pretty much all the time. I think I looked at the weather up there. It's something like, I think the high today is gonna be like 49, and the low's like 35. That's basically how Washington is through the entire winter. Unless, of course, you cross, the Cascades and enter eastern Washington, at which point it gets a lot drier and a lot colder. Eastern Washington is like fucking Siberia in the winter. That's another place. Like you live in a place like fucking Spokane. Oh yeah, you better have some thick skin come wintertime. That gets cold there. I mean, and it makes sense, right? You're in the interior of the United States at a latitude similar to North Dakota. What'd you think it was gonna be, Miami? All right. Here we go. Bitch. Shit. Okay. Definitely slowing down on the form is gassing my shoulders. I have to go down weight. I'm on, finish. Okay. Give yourself a minute. I got another rep in me if not finishing the set. Yeah, we're gonna go down weight. Damn. Whew. Let's go to 125. That's rough. So this workout's an ego check. How'd the form look? It's been warm here this winter relatively. That's an ego check for sure. So we're gonna do this and then a wide grip shoulder press. Puppy Pound Gaming 69, welcome on in. Yeah, SC, it's not that cold. I'm calling for rain though. Well, here it's sunny. I don't believe rain's in the forecast till Sunday. Wasn't watching your grip. Center of gravity looked fine though. Well, it's hard to see my grip from this angle. Behind the neck press, grip doesn't matter as much. Your grip's gonna more or less be vertical. And that's another thing that I've been having trouble figuring out. I've seen several different videos of, your military press, your shoulder press, where sometimes, your wrists are bent a little bit more, sometimes your wrists are dead straight. It's a little bit hard to tell there. We'll do one more set. get a little bit more music going. But yeah, right now, I would say, so I guess I can give you guys an update on sort of where I might be next year. I think if I stick around here in South Carolina, I'm very likely to receive a promotion. Sort of maxed out at my grade right now, and I've got, there are 2 engineers on my team within the project that are, I know one is guaranteed to retire in March of 2024, another is likely to retire in July or August, and I talked with my boss about it. I said, hey, look, if these guys are retiring, realistically speaking, we've had trouble getting new engineers on this project, and while we might get 1, I don't think we're getting 2. That means, in all likelihood, I'm going to be asked to step up, and as a result, I should be, if you're going to ask me to take on work, of the experts that have been doing this in my field for 30 plus years, I should probably see an increase in compensation accordingly, and my manager agreed. And I like my manager here at this job, but I think he's been a very good boss. What part of South Carolina are you in? I'm in Aiken County. I don't really want to get more specific than that, but I'm just across the river from Plant Vogel, Augusta. I'm a nuclear engineer. You can figure out the rest. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. Yeah, so Puppy Pound, I don't know if you're upstate or PD or Charleston or what, but yeah. I live in that part of South Carolina everybody just kind of forgets about. Nobody really remembers that the Midlands exists outside of like Columbia. All right, let's go. All right, so we're down to 125. I need to fucking rep this. I'm pissed off now a little bit. Come on, strong leg pull. Strong leg pull. Let's go. Not bad. That felt pretty good. I think I was going deep enough down. I definitely felt like I was locking up there. I would love to see. You're not too far from me? Awesome. It would be great to meet one of my Twitch audience members in person, Very few people I know live here, so that'd be kind of neat. For sure. As my castle crumbles. Anyway, so that's where I'm currently at with my current job. However, the U.S. Navy is interested in hiring me on as a nuclear reactors engineer. And if they do, that would either take me right now to one of 2 shipyards. The first is Bremerton Shipyard, or Puget Sound Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington. The second is Pearl Harbor Shipyard in, well, you guessed it, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Lord of the pain, good to see you. Just like an hour and a half, I live near PI. Is that Pawleys Island? I think that's what you're getting at. I'm trying to think of what else in South Carolina would be PI. Paris Island. Oh, okay, so you're down near Beaufort. Got it. My mobile's bugged, so sorry about that. Hey, it's all right. That's why I only timed you out for like 5 minutes, because I had a feeling that's what was going on. I didn't think you were deliberately trying to spam the same message. But I had to tell you to stop. I'm like, bro, I don't need to see the same chat popping in here too. I think Discord itself was having just a bad day because there were times when the servers weren't working yesterday. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah, you're good, Lord of the Thing. Don't worry. All right, so that was 10 at 125. We're gonna hit 10 again here. Yeah, Discord servers are screwy. But, well, all right. A lot of the time I'll go down to Hilton Head or Edisto or the island that shall not be named because I don't want to give it away to Midwesterners and Yankees to spoil. Look, you guys have the rest of the Carolina coast. You don't need to know about the secret island that we don't like telling Northerners about. I refuse to state on air what that island is. If you know, you know. I love it because nobody's ever there. It's not very developed. And don't get me wrong, I love Hilton Head. I love the Strand. Like Myrtle's nice and North Myrtle's nice and Hilton Head's nice and see, that's the thing. I don't mind the Ohioans. I'm a bit scared. I don't mind the Midwesterners in general because they recognize that, hey, we're at the beach. Slow down, enjoy it, take life slow. That's nice and chill. It's the fucking New Yorkers and Massachusetts residents that I found that they come down here and they're still extremely aggressive. It's like, chill out, bro. You're at the beach. Enjoy it. Take life a little slow. You know, if the speed limit says 35, just go 35. It's cool. Chrono Square, good to see you. Good morning. Of all the cheap houses and then rent them out. I mean, that's more or less something that happens no matter where you go. Around here, we have, the Masters across the river in Augusta. Now that's the 1 week I don't want to see a single goddamn plate from the north at the Carolina beaches. That's when we get, it's the 1 week a year, the 1 weekend a year, I don't want to see no Yankees at the beach. All right, we're giving y'all the city of Augusta to go and play in and enjoy the golf tournament. But that means we need to go do something for that weekend. So fuck off from the beaches. You guys get it the other 51 weeks out of the year. Let us have it on Masters weekend. Do they have a carefree living here for the most part? Yeah. All right. Let's go. Last behind the net. Last behind the net press. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. Home gym? It's a garage gym, really, but yes. Everyone ever knows everyone's where it's a nice small net community. That's how it is here. I live in a town of under 2,000 people. We have 8 churches, 0 grocery stores, and dozens of Confederate flags. So, pros and cons to it. All right. So now we got wide grip press. So wide grip press is going to be sort of same idea for shoulder press. The difference is, right, the grip's out here. It's a mechanical disadvantage. Makes it a lot harder. So we got 3 sets of this, and then we're gonna move on to the bodybuilding work. I've got a long way to go on my press. I think it's a weak link that I've identified in my game. You know, we maxed it last week, and I maxed it at 200. I think I've got more strength than that in my shoulders, but I don't think I've got the form right enough to where I feel confident in trying heavier. There we go. Trying to find another song. But yeah, so right now, it's looking like I'm either going to be here in South Carolina, in Bremerton, Washington, or in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii next year. It's still up in air. I got an offer from Hawaii already. It's a bit low, especially given the extreme cost of living out there. So for that to happen, they're going to need to, I counter-offered, they're going to need to bump up their game. I'm expecting an offer from Bremerton. I do think, Puget, the difference between Pearl and Puget, it's a supply and demand thing. So, right, Pearl Harbor, for engineers out there, the military's kind of it when it comes to engineering jobs in Oahu. There are a couple with the state, but the state of Hawaii doesn't pay particularly well, and the state of Hawaii tends to try and hire Hawaii residents first, which is fine, and I have no problem with that. Do well by your own citizenry, but if you're an engineer, the opportunities are a bit more limited out there compared to a place like Puget, right, Bremerton, where first off, just Navy shipyards alone, Puget has to compete with Bangor, which is right there. That's the submarine. That's another submarine base. They've got to compete with Boeing across the sound in Everett. They've got to compete with, on the tech side of things, you've got Amazon there, and Amazon hires all sorts of engineers. You've got, I think Google has some space up there. You've got the Port of Seattle, the Port of Tacoma, which are about as big, if not even bigger, than the Port of Honolulu. You've got airline companies. You've got there is a lot of engineering work to be had in the greater Seattle metro area, and as such, I think I wouldn't say I'm expecting more from Puget, but I think if it happens, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Puget came back with more than Pearl did. And it's a supply and demand thing. The other part of this is, and it is fairly important, cost of living. The cost of living in all of Western Washington is high. The cost of living in Oahu is extreme. There is a difference. They're both high, far higher than my current location, but one is much worse than the other. The other one is that income taxes. Income taxes here in South Carolina, they used to be 7%. Under Governor McMaster, we've been running surpluses and people keep moving to the state, so it's cut down to 6% now, which is great. In Hawaii, it's 8%. That's pretty high. In Washington, it's zippity-doo-dah. Now, Washington, of course, you have a very high sales tax and property taxes are through the roof, but no state income tax. I mean, that is several $1,000s back in my pocket immediately. So that's a huge deal. I'm in choir right now for the cantata. I don't know what the cantata is, but good for you. Cecilia Rose, it's good to see you. Welcome on in. All right, let's do another set. So this is going to be wide grip. I'm going to allow myself a little bit of push here. Not a ton, just a little bit of legs or ankles. Let's see here. There we go. So we're going to go for a wide grip here. 1, 2, 3. That was only 9. Come on. I don't know why I put it on my back there. That was a mistake. Oh, that was tough. Whoo! Man, I'm feeling that. That's killing my shoulders. It was good. We'll stick to that. Rainbow, good to see you. Oh, we got a raid from Rainbow. Let's go. I can't tell this is the theme series of songs going for Christmas. Oh, cool. Thank you. Rainbow, how you doing? Can we get a shout out? Big Game Mikey, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you for the shout out, or thank you for the raid. Rainbow the Pandamancer and his merry band of furries. I do need a raid alert. It's a good idea. ENB on track to achieve a 60% savings rate. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, when I talked about this on my Financial Fitness Friday stream, not yesterday, but a week before yesterday, if you have a 50% savings rate, you've automatically cut your required working career from about 40 years, which is about the average, to 17 years. If you're at 60, you can cut it further to as few as 12 years, depending on your withdrawal rate and your return on investment. Your final 2 weeks of vacation before starting a new job. Oh, congratulations. Good for you. Congratulations. That's awesome, bro. So we got, right now we're working on press, trying to work our shoulders. So that's the goal here. Your savings are growing at 7.7%. Dude, that's terrific. There we go. Okay. Yeah, 7.7% as a savings growth rate, that's pretty damn good. Definitely look like ENB, you're doing everything right now. My savings rate, this is the other one I could estimate. Based on the knowledge, guessing, assuming that I'm making a little bit more here, right? In terms of maximizing savings rate, I'm not going to do any better than I am right here in South Carolina. My costs of living are just extremely low. And my savings rate here is north of 80%. In fact, I'm going to be doing some charitable donations through the rest of the year just to hit my minimum spend target. I'm at that point. That's how high the savings rate is. I think right now, last checked, it was like 84%, which is almost too high. I've done the math, I'm thinking, and it's obviously going to depend on what I get offered. If I were to be in Washington, I guess my savings would probably be around 60%, and Hawaii would be more like 50%. What do gas prices look for you? Mostly irrelevant because I drive a Volt. I've used $75 worth of gasoline this year. In my neck of the woods, they're in the mid to upper twos, like $2.70, $2.80 a gallon. So far too low is what I would say. Gas prices need to be higher. High gas prices are a good thing, believe it or not. People are like, I know that sounds like heresy, but high gas prices are good for the American economy. The $3.29 a gallon here, that's still pretty damn low, honestly. You got to remember, Everybody has the memory. For some reason, Americans have the memory of goldfish when it comes to gas prices. Everybody's like, wow, gas gets so expensive, and now gas is cheap again. And if you're one of these morons, okay, and I'm not trying to, I tend not to, cast too much shade on any one side politically, but I'm gonna go ahead and castigate the political right here for a moment. If you're one of these morons putting these Biden "I did that" stickers on gas pumps when gas hit $4.50 a gallon, 18 months ago, now that gas is cheap again, how are you feeling? Did Biden do that? No, he didn't do either, because the president just doesn't have some magic dial in his office that changes gas prices. The president does not control macroeconomic effects to that degree. It's silly, it's stupid. Not to mention, everybody's like, oh, but Biden isn't investing in oil and gas drilling. Bitch, the United States is literally setting new records for oil extraction this year. Production, drilling has not been the problem. And the people who say, oh, we can permanently solve high gas prices by just drilling more, are the same people who think curing obesity with bigger pants is a good solution. Do you want them to be at $5 a gallon? Dude, I'd love them to be at $8 a gallon. Given the last 2 years, I just don't understand how the prices are going back down. Oh, that one's really simple. So the reason they're going back down is because demand is falling off, particularly in China. China has had trouble restarting their economic engine coming out of the COVID pandemic. Remember, lockdowns in China were very fierce, and a lot of the political crackdowns from the Xi Jinping administration have scared off a lot of business investment. Lower business investment means lower economic growth. Lower economic growth, especially in a country like China, means lower oil demand. And it's not about supply. Oil is such a fungible commodity that the price of oil is a lot more attentive to oil demand and not oil supply, right? Remember, why did oil prices spike in 2022? Well, it's very simple. Russia invaded Ukraine, and because Russia is a massive petroleum exporter, we all of a sudden sanctioned Russian oil. Well, that means there was a drastic drop-off in supply, but demand, due to the war effort, went up. When supply goes down and demand goes up, basic economics will tell you that the price is going to go right on up. Right on up. Sweatpants are only a problem when you keep buying bigger ones. Is wearing sweatpants. Thought Biden and his administration clamped down on USA New Oil. Nope, it's right-wing propaganda. The United States is producing more oil than ever. And again, normally I criticize the left plenty on this channel. This is one of the things I will fucking spit roast the right on. The American right wing is so fundamentally ignorant of how the oil and gas market works. I think it's willful. I think most people on the political right understand it, but I think they have so much contempt for their basic red meat voter to where they won't actually address the issue in realistic terms. We have such a massive head muscle based on that rant because I'm a nuclear engineer. I have a condition called bullshit intolerance. It's an engineer's disease in general. No, the Republicans who say Biden is killing the oil and gas industry are lying through their teeth. That's just factually inaccurate. Morning, Johnny Jargon. Good to see you. All right, we got another set here. Come on. Now, that rant gave me a little time to rest up. Should be good for my next set. Wide grip. I'm gonna adjust the camera down a bit. Yeah. And by the way, do not under any circumstances think I do not have contempt for the political left as well, because you better believe I do. But on this particular issue, the political right is just fucking brain dead. Not to mention, the United States we literally produce more oil than anywhere else in the world right now, more than even the Saudis do. So guess what? That means high oil prices equal more American jobs. So again, low gas prices are not as good for America as you think they are, I promise. Smart and bold, true ancient Greek and Renaissance man. I appreciate that. The goal is to look like a Greek god. Right now I'm bulking up though, the goal is to put on muscle in the next few months and then, chip away all the fat that's been accumulated. All right, come on. Let's go. Two sets down, one to go on wide grip. Demand is low right now due to seasonal factors. That's true. That's also the case. American oil demand drops at this time of year and peaks usually around the summer months, which is why usually gas prices are higher in the spring and summer. So I'm still in a recomp phase despite losing almost 30 pounds. That first cut or recomp is always a bitch and a half. Keep at it, Lemon. Man's the literal inverse of Homer Simpson. I have a special disdain for Matt Groening in The Simpsons. That cartoon has done more to damage the nuclear power industry in this country than any other factor. And as a result, it's a big part of the reason public support for nuclear energy in the United States is so low, and as such, why our carbon emissions are staying high, because we have not built more than a handful of new nuclear reactors since 1979. The Simpsons are a huge part of that, because people think that nuclear waste is this toxic glowing green goo that's stored in leaky barrels and makes fish have 3 eyes. So much of that is wrong, and it pisses me off so bad. Not even the golden... No, okay, so the Simpsons is a funny cartoon. Steamed Hams is one of the best comedic chunks of writing ever created. Every single word is not wasted in that little segment. It's either a joke or it's leading up to a joke. I can understand how well it's written. But as a nuclear engineer, no one like Homer Simpson would ever be employed as a reactor operator in the United States. It's just, no. The test you have to do, the training you have to do to be a licensed operator in the United States is tremendous. I mean, it's just, God. Matt Groening has done more damage to the environment than pretty much everybody else not named Charles and David Koch. I'll put it that way. Aurora Borealis at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen. Yes. Some Homer Simpson types in my job making, yeah. Hitting the protein goals are the biggest hurdle, but staying out or below the calories has been very doable. It's tough to make both of those macro numbers match up. BullMuscle raining on people's parades again. May I see it? Yes. Right, at this time, localized entirely in your kitchen. Yes. May I see it? No. Now, Steamed Hams is excellent. Again, the writing of the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons or thereabouts is great. I'm not going to say it's not a high quality cartoon, but the amount of damage it has done to the reputation of the nuclear power industry in this country is incalculable. It's extremely high, and Matt Groening should be very much ashamed of himself for the damage he's done in that regard. Because, look, until maybe the last 5 to 10 years, solar, wind, and unicorn farts were not viable. Certainly were not viable in the early 90s when nuclear power was really the only solution to getting off of oil, coal, and natural gas. And Groening has, metaphorically speaking, blood on his hands on this one. Would you say it's done to the reputation of the monorail? Probably left it unchanged. Monorails don't really make sense in general, but did you bring up The Simpsons yesterday when you mentioned nuclear power? I didn't get to it. Oh, no, I have very strong feelings about The Simpsons in that regard. I've been whenever, and I've mentioned this, when I say I work in the nuclear industry, I've often gotten, like Homer Simpson. Oh, people tell me that. I have to really hide my anger when people say that. That is a spit in the face. I mean, think about that for a minute. That's the most, when you say, I am a nuclear worker in this country, that's the first comparison people come up with. One of the dumbest characters on television ever. A man who literally in one episode was found to have a fucking crayon lodged in his brain. That's what you're comparing me to. Why should I not be insulted by that? No, I really fucking don't like Matt Groening. I think he's very good at what he does, but I think he has perhaps unwittingly used his skills to do more damage than almost anyone else in the country. I think the environment would have been better off had Matt Groening never ever chosen to do cartoons. I'll put it that way. Amazing what pictures can do. In Germany, it was protesters chaining themselves to railroads and nuclear waste was transported. Seeing that as a child heavily influenced me without knowing anything about technology let me vote green for years. Oh, don't even get me fucking started on the Germans. I have an uncle, a very smart guy in Germany, but Deutschland took the exact wrong lesson from Chernobyl. Chernobyl was not a failure because of nuclear power. Chernobyl was a failure because of communism. The Soviet system is what caused the Chernobyl accident, not nuclear energy. It is physically impossible for a Western reactor to have the meltdown that the Chernobyl reactor did. And there are several reasons for this. The first is that the RBMK reactor was an inherently flawed design. The Soviets, by the way, had a better design already in the works, already out there, when the RBMK was chosen upon in the early 60s. It was called the VVER, and to this day there are plenty of VVERs working very efficiently in Russia and all the former Soviet Union countries. The second part is the tips for the moderators, for the control rods in the Chernobyl RBMK reactor were tipped with graphite. And that's dangerous for a lot of reasons, but far more dangerous than that was because the Soviet system kept it a state secret. You need to tell your operators this. As a result, the scram button, scram is basically shut down everything. It's the emergency shutdown button, known as AZ5 in the RBMK. Accidentally, under the conditions caused by Chernobyl, the safeties had been turned off for, ironically enough, a safety test. All of those conditions had turned the reactor into a giant bomb, basically. Unfortunately, I'd rather soak up knowledge about nuclear talk than fitness and health. We do a little bit of both on this channel. Reasons for lack of nuclear power plants in the U.S. has more to do with Three Mile Island and Chernobyl than The Simpsons. 3 Mile Island, yes. Chernobyl, no. I don't think Chernobyl influenced the opinions on nuclear power too much in this country because thankfully in this country, for all of America's warts, we understand how stupid a system communism is. Always have and always will, hopefully. No, the 3 Mile Island protesters, funny enough, were bankrolled by the fossil fuel industry. The oil and gas industry saw what happened at 3 Mile Island and saw, oh, this is a really easy way to knock out a potential competitor for our fields. Let's pay off the Sierra Club and, fucking ignorant musicians and actors that don't know better. Some I quite like, actually. Bruce Springsteen and Jackson Brown, James Taylor to go and protest nuclear energy. It's so frustrating. Being a nuclear worker, it's hard not to become jaded. But it's a national delusion. And what's funny too is watching the French and the Polish clean y'all's clocks. What's funny too is that the Polish have seen what y'all have done, and the Polish are starting to build nuclear reactors. And for y'all's sake, I hope the Polish build the nuclear reactors all on the western side of the country, right next to the German border, just to piss off the German Greens. Again, it is a group I have nothing but contempt for. There actually was a powerful renaissance in nuclear energy in the 2000s, and then Fukushima happened. Again, Fukushima, if anything, should vindicate nuclear energy. I think the deaths from radiation poisoning due to Fukushima was like 1 to 2. I don't even know if that's necessarily been proven. However, zoom out on the broader context there. A magnitude 9 earthquake, which for Japan is damn near record levels, and Japan is about the most earthquake-prone country in the world. A magnitude 9 earthquake hit right next to the nuclear power plant. The only reason the reactor melted down is because TEPCO didn't put the backup diesel generators above the sea level. That's just stupidity on TEPCO's part. It's not an indictment of nuclear power, for God's sake. We're now buying from France a lot of energy now after we shut off the last 3 nuclear plants. Yup. And because of a lot of the anti-nuclear sentiment, what you guys did was artificially addict yourselves to Russian gas in the 2010s. How did that work for you guys? And here's the best part too. Well, I didn't know that about. Yeah, Fukushima melted down because one of the largest earthquakes in human history happened right next to it. And the only reason the meltdown occurred, if they had not ironically, if they had not shut down the power plant. So the way a nuclear reactor works, when you shut it down, when you shut down a nuclear power plant, right, you have to find a way to cool off the fuel because the fuel is still in the nuclear cycle even when you put the control rods in. But to do that, right, to prevent the fuel from overheating, you have to continue to cycle water through if it's a pressurized reactor or a boiling water reactor. So to do that, you have to have some form of power mechanism. Well, when a nuclear plant is operating, the nuclear plant can feed itself because it's generating lots of power. The power, a little bit of the power can go back to continue to run water through the circuit, right? Once that's off, you need to have backup diesel generators to produce that power. Well, because Fukushima, in an overabundance of safety, said, okay, let's shut off the reactors, well, guess what? That means it had to rely on the diesel generators. The diesel generators were located in a really stupid spot. And the U.S. Atomic, I think it was the NRC, there were a couple international atomic agencies that had all recommended to TEPCO to move their diesel generators, and TEPCO refused to do it. So it's on TEPCO. There you go. Stupid strategies. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. One of the smartest streamers, Twitch, hands down, so awesome. Well, I know my industry well because I'm trained to know it well. Look, I am not under the illusion that nuclear power cannot be done poorly. When it's done poorly, the results are catastrophic. But it's very easy to make sure those results don't happen. But because the public gets so irrationally scared and the media pumps up those fears, because of that, the government will over-regulate the nuclear industry to where it becomes very cost uncompetitive. And that's the biggest problem right now in the US. We have made regulations on the nuclear industry so burdensome that if it were any other industry and those regulations were applied to that industry would cease to exist. Sky to Quebec, welcome on in. Looking for a stream top this up too. This is the first stream I'm getting surprised by it. Why not be a renaissance? Well, my answer to you guys, and I appreciate the compliments, that does mean a lot actually. I do thank you. Why not be a renaissance man? Why not be able to, right, rep heavy weights on shoulders, but talk about high-level intellectual topics like nuclear fission? Why not do both? Life is short. Be the best at a lot of things. All right, let's go. I got Black Sabbath. Let's go. I need to do another set. Come on, strong leg ball. Swallowed something wrong. Well, there I go, bragging about myself for a moment. Pride comes before the humbling. Come on. That's it for the heavy variations. Now I move on to bodybuilding work. Now, what's funny is people hear me say, how are the sinuses? Still coughing up a little bit of this, but it's getting better. So well, right? Dude, reading's fun. Good amount of companies and computer labs set up a sound desktop support based on what I've seen. Yeah. I'm all right. So, what else do we got today? Okay, so lat raises, skull crushers. Okay, cool. That means these weights need to come off. That's cool. Lost train of thought there for a bit. What's really funny is that a lot of people, and again, nothing pisses me off more when I get compared to Homer Simpson, because again, that's an insult. Think about what you're saying there for a moment. If you're comparing me to Homer Simpson, you're telling me, oh, you think my job is so easy. First off, it shows ignorance because I work in the nuclear industry. I don't work in the nuclear power sector. But it's saying, you think my job is so easy, one of the dumbest characters on television ever can do it. And that my industry is so incompetent or malicious that they would hire someone like that. So much of that is wrong. But what's really funny is when I tell people, oh yeah, I work in the nuclear industry, but I don't work in nuclear power. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, so you're Oppenheimer. And then I say to that, no comment. I gotta piss. Hang on a sec. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Big bowl, tiny bladder. So next up we got lat raises for sets of 15. I like doing these slowly, so we're gonna go. I'll go for 30 pounds. This is a ridiculously dumb comment. It is. This is a lurking problem in the US of anti-intellectualism. That's always been the case. I think to an extent that's true, but the way to fix that is to be part of the solution. You know, if you want to stem unintellectual content, stop watching it, right? Get off of TikTok, get off of Twitter. Those are intellectual cesspools that cause brain rot. Don't go there, right? If you want to support intellectual content, go to a place like, Curiosity Stream or Nebula, where you're watching interesting documentaries. If you decide to watch anything at all, better still, read a book. Weakening magnetic field doesn't help. Particles in sun is able to lower cognitive abilities. Huh? I haven't heard much about that. I did research on Google, so I know best. Yeah, you get a lot of that for sure. All right. Oh, okay, so we got lat raises. I'm gonna do two standing up, one bent over at 90 and one bent over at 45. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's go. But yeah, no, people, it's fun to tell people that, because everybody's people will automatically assume, perhaps for better, that the nuclear industry is just about reactors and power plants. That's cute. Yeah, reversing polarity, though, I don't think that does anything to people's intelligence. I think there are probably simpler. Occam's razor will help you here. All right. That's 15. Baby boomers are ate too much lead paint. Millennials like me are full of microplastics. Yeah, that's pretty true. High class of that class and class on the way, likely a role activity tonight, I believe. How's the workout? It's going well. Definitely a lot of form work to do on shoulders. I feel like I cleaned it up today. I'm gonna go back to the VOD and look at it again. I feel like my form was a lot better. But we'll see. If it still looks like there's stuff to improve upon, I'm gonna have to just figure out a way to improve it. All right. So there'll be skull crushers. Oh. Skull crushers are pretty easy. Just basic old triceps. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. 50. Magnetic pole is getting ready to flip. Pole has been currently moving. Based on current information, we'll likely do for a pole flip within our lifetimes. Wonder what birds will do with a magnet field swap. I guess we'll find out. Consumer tech building agencies. We're an IT, as a back and management end that channels don't cover. Oh yeah. For sure. No, I'll tell you what. As far as IT is concerned, you want to talk about a position with loads of job security for years to come. AI isn't really going to be able to fix a lot of those issues. You're going to need humans for that. So E&B, you're setting yourself up for success there. And I'll tell you, especially where you're, Lord of the Ping, don't worry, like more than half of my audience is gay at this point. I'm convinced of that. I have no problem with it, but I'm also not, I'm not delusional. But E&B, you've set yourself up so well for success. And it's been really, really gratifying to watch you, state you're gonna make the right decisions for you in your life and follow through on them. You're turning into a really great young man, so much respect. I have a lot of respect for the way you're handling your financial and personal affairs, handling your career. Dude, I love to see it. So, credit to you. Even if you're a systems engineer, most of your work can be automated. Depends on what industry. The thirst is real. I'm flattered by it more than anything else. You gotta remember, all this attention, that I've gotten from Twitch is still very, very new to me in the longer run of things. So that's nice. I certainly don't mind it. All right, so let's see. I did bench yesterday or last week. I did shoulder press last week. Yeah, I did them at 85. I might do them at 90 this week. I'm not sure. All right, next set. Reflect on what you could possibly do for a career. 30 plus and no real prospects. Have you ever thought about skilled blue collar labor? Pays pretty damn well. Being an electrician or a welder, you'll get a good career out of it. That can't be automated. Here we go. What's the temp in here? 58, that's pretty good. Yeah, that did feel pretty easy. I think I'm gonna throw a little bit more weight. We're going 90. Oh shit, the camera's not at the right angle for this, is it? My bad. That's better. How to get into this grandpa's welding shop? Well, I don't know about what state you live in, but here in the state of South Carolina, there are actually apprenticeship programs where the state will help you get trained, and you'll get $17 an hour while you're getting trained. Once you've got, let's take welding for instance. Around here, if you get trained, you already enter the workforce as a, first, second year journeyman welder, $50,000 a year plus. With overtime, you're talking 70, 75, which around here is very good money. You get a couple nuclear certs, you're a nuclear grade welder out here, you'll pull in way more money than I do as an engineer. Like, there are some nuclear welders out here, they'll make 200 grand a year, easy. But nobody wants to do that because welding nuclear grade shit in an unventilated 95-degree environment is hard. People don't like to do hard things. That's their business, not mine. Oh. Come on. Hey, AQQII1122, thanks for the follow. Ooh, hey, feel that in the delts. Lats is good. In my area, Iowa companies are recruiting directly from the trade schools and community colleges. Yup, because demand for skilled blue-collar labor is high right now, and the supply is really fucking low. Old guy running at Sir Homer's Gramsci. Yup. So, just a question of how to get into those. I don't know what state you live in. But there may well be a state-sponsored apprenticeship program. Here in South Carolina, we cannot get enough people into those programs. The unemployment rate's so low that there just aren't that many applicants. Right. The unemployment rate here in South Carolina is 2.9% right now, and people are flooding into the state faster than basically any other state. That's how good demand is for it right now. And you don't have to be a welder, this is just one example. Electricians, HVAC techs, plumbers, and HVAC techs, that's going to be a huge one because, new and more stringent federal building codes are getting passed. When those happen, you need more efficient HVAC units. That needs installation, that needs maintenance, that needs service, things of that nature. Carpentry, we're talking about, oh God, panic, there's a housing crisis in the US. Well, what does that mean? That means there's an artificially high supply and artificially low demand for housing. What does that mean? It means the market is going to bear more opportunities for construction. What does that mean? There's going to be jobs there. So construction, if you're a carpenter, if you're a tile layer, if you are, a mason, if you are, if you're a roofer, all of that, really good money, solid careers that can't be automated. Another really good one, wind turbine technicians. We've put so many wind turbines up over the past 15 years. A lot of those are going to need a lot of maintenance and service as time goes by. But you have to be willing to climb all the way up a wind turbine. If you're okay with that, then you're going to make fucking bank. Wind turbine techs make 100K right now. Easy. Housing's so wacky at the moment. Dude, I love it. People complain about that. It's so fucking, it makes me laugh just because of where I live. Cost of housing's dirt cheap here still. I think this project goes along. That may not necessarily be the case, but still, it is at the moment. All right, let's do another set. This will be my last, no, this will be my third set on skull crushers. What are your thoughts on REITs? I think they're a great business model. They can give you a really solid dividend return, and I think they could definitely be a solid part of someone's portfolio. If you're looking for reliable yield, don't chase the highest yield REITs. Those are the ones where the yield is very often unsustainable and the price of the stock will go down. But in general, I definitely think REITs are a solid thing to add to your portfolio. If you want to be a lazy landlord, there's nothing better than a REIT. Wonder if I'm bothering with Twitch and mobile when I sat at my PC at RuneScape, because otherwise, I mean, you got me, bro. I'll be doing RuneScape again tomorrow, probably. I'm getting real close to 98 smithing, which is when the fun begins. By the way, if you're a brand new player to old school RuneScape and you want to make like a solid, couple thousand, come talk to me. I've got an opportunity for you. You turn a couple hundred GP into a couple thousand for you real quick. It'd be a task that'd take probably 10, 15 minutes tops. But it's one I just don't feel like doing, and I need someone else to do it for me. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on the RuneScape channel and Discord, and I'll help explain it to you. I think you got an opportunity to make like a solid, probably 25, 30 grand, something like that. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Ever seen that? Those are called skull crushers. So the idea behind a skull crusher, real simple. I'll just demonstrate it with this plate, right? The idea behind a skull crusher is you're isolating your elbows, and that's the only thing you're really trying to move. You're doing them, right? They're called skull crushers because you bring the bar to your skull, and you're bending your elbows, so when you extend it, you're using your triceps. It's a solid bodybuilding triceps workout. Don't do skull crushers at high weight. That'll cause a lot of stress on your elbow. You want to do that fairly low weight, fairly high reps, like sets of 15. There you go. There's a little briefer on skull crushers. I saw the things. All right, so I did these last time, so I can do these this time. Face on your TV. I'm the cult of personality. Still you tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. So Stalin and Gandhi. Oh, the cult of person. Nice. All right, we got one more set of skull crushers. We got vertical flies, dumbbell extensions, Arnold press, and shoulder flies. I like it. All right, so do vert flies. That needs to come down one. That's easy. Actually, no, I'll just do it with dumbbells. I don't normally do it with dumbbells anyway. Give myself a couple moments just to breathe, catch up. Let's do done 4, 10, 17 so far. Cool. You gave me fortune, you gave me fame, you gave me power in your God's name. Person. 10. Come on. Just a bit. No, wait, I was going to do it dumbbells. What am I doing? I'm confusing myself. So we're going to do vertical flies. We're going to do sets of 15. I think I'm going to try them with 50s and see how it goes. I may go down weight to 40s. We'll see how the form looks. So I think I've seen these called front raises as well. Call them whatever the hell you want. The idea here is we're using our traps and upper back and delts to pull the weight up and squeeze at the top. So you don't want to just do this. You want to use your traps, right? When you're coming up, you want to squeeze up here. And these muscles right here need to be engaged at the top of the rep. That's the goal. That's an upright row. That's what these are called. I mean, Call them whatever works. To me, they feel like flies, you know, in the same way that these are flies. They feel kind of like that. I guess they're not because I'm bending my elbows. I guess they are probably upright rows. Yeah. I'm going to continue calling them vertical flies. I don't give a fuck. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Ooh, last few I feel like I was really having to push it. It's not bad. All right, so we're gonna do that. And then we got dumbbell extensions. Okay. That means we can take these off. Yeah. We're doing my dumbbells today. I didn't know what they were called. Gotta head out. All right, it's been good seeing you again, ENB. Always good to have long-term followers like you come in. Always good to hear the life updates. Good to see you, ATD. Need to be made an editor for the channel. I get sub alerts. Roger Wilco, I'll do that next time. I'm just writing it down. Give me a sec. Got it. I wrote it down. Remind me. All right. All right. So now we're going to do triceps extension. So what's the idea here? The idea behind the tricep extension, right? You want to keep your back kind of flat. You want to start here. The idea is use your tricep to extend the dumbbell backwards. You really want to isolate everything apart from the elbow. Or sorry, you want to isolate the elbow. Everything else should be static. That's the goal. We're going to see how 30s go. I'll see if I want to go up or down weight with it. This is meant to be formed, so it's not, you know, nobody's going to ask you, bro, how much do you do tricep extensions with? Nobody gives a shit. Oh, no, that's too heavy. Your 20s. No, that's too heavy. Sometimes you just know off the feel. Ooh, that kills. Feel that, that's good. That's real good. Yeah, 3 more sets of each of those. Then we'll move on to We're gonna hit Arnold press, and then front and side raises. Stopped at around 55. He got up and did one. Weights coach. Weights classes coach. Who do the most is? Class Andrew coach. Do as many as you do one more. Ha! I mean, he did do one more. He didn't say one more than what? 55 dips is great, dude. I can rep out pretty reliably 20, 25. I kind of get bored. I know, in general, when it comes to reps, I think once you're getting beyond the 20 rep range, you're really getting into the point where it almost turns into cardio. And that's fine, but the point kind of goes away at that level. Right. And occasionally I will do this, you know, throw on maybe just 2 plates apiece on the leg press and see if we can do a set of 100. This is a really good burnout set. But like, yeah. Use sets of 20 with a 25-pound weight belt. Exactly. So like, it's not, I mean, like doing dips on latent at some point, you need to put more weight on. Otherwise, you're not doing a ton for yourself. That's where I'm going with that. That's impressive that you're able to do 55 though on latent. That's great, dude. That's really good. All right. Let's see. We've got 3, 6, 10. All right, we got 10 sets left. Hey, Soul Duo 3. Thank you very much. Welcome on in. Welcome to the bullpen. Did 3 dead hang pull-ups the other day. Pretty proud of that one. That one's good. The dead hang pull-ups, right, where you're doing pull-ups, but you're coming down and like relaxing at the sockets before doing the next one. So that's a good song. No More by Aerosmith. By the way, Capra and I were testing out playing music on stream earlier. The answer is yes, we can do it without it leaking into the VOD, which is great, but it kind of slows down the frame rate on my laptop, so probably need to do some optimization for that to work. We'll see whether or not that's really feasible, or whether or not I would need a better computer to do that. So we'll see. So if you don't save, I mean, I wish I had a weight belt or like a chain belt to where I could do weighted dips. I don't have that available for me at my work gym, and I don't have a dip bar here. I could get a dip attachment, but I'm gonna be real with you, this creaky old squat rack might not support that. Especially knee plus weight, that's a lot to ask of the squat rack. I switched to music. Do you keep your streams up? I do. I export the VODs to YouTube, so you know I like doing that. I think it's a good way to create the content. Because the thing is, the VODs will only stay up for 2 weeks. So when I export them to YouTube, you can really see the progression over time. You know, and sometimes I'll throw highlights or clips up. A lot of the times, Severus or Capra will help me with that. And if you're interested in being more of like a a moderator or admin on my stream, stick around, be an active part of the community, and talk to me about that. So music is a no-go. So what I've heard is you can do music on the live stream, but you cannot do music on, like, Twitch will look the other way for doing it on the live stream, but if you keep it on the VODs, Twitch will whack you with a copyright strike. Appreciate that on his shit at modding. I get you. All right. Let's do this set. Come on, strong like bull. Let's do this. Come on. Not bad. No more, no more. Telling my dreams. No more, no more. I never say so I can play whatever I want. I get that. I mean, I just listen to music on my headphones. It's just not connected to the stream. Same. Besides, I'm not sure anybody's all that interested in hearing my 70s and 80s dad rock playlist. Found my horse again. That's better. It adds lots of stream, adds to your personality, to be honest. I was listening to Joe Walsh the other day with 37-year-old learns Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh's pretty damn good. I like him a lot more as a solo artist. I hate the Eagles. There's only like one Eagles song I actually like. The Eagles were, you know, that's where the sum is not better than the total of the components. I like all the solo artists of the Eagles. Life is Good, that's a good one. Deal with it, bro. Eagles suck. Only one song of theirs I really like. Take It Easy's mid. Already Gone is mid. Hotel California's crap, dude. You know what the Eagles are? The Eagles are Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, but worse. How about that for a hot take? Hotel All the Way, crazy live intro too. There's only one Eagles song I ever thought was worth a damn. All right, we got 2 more sets of these upright rows. You get 2 more sets of triceps dumbbell extensions. Then we're gonna do some supersets. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 2 sets of 15 on Arnold press 40s, swap to a set of front raises, a set of side raises, and then finish with a set of Arnold presses. It's all gonna go boom to boom to boom to boom. This is gonna be tons of hypertrophy. My shoulders should be absolutely shot after the set, or rather superset. Tell you what's a damn good song, Weapon Post by the Allman Brothers. That's a good one. Let's see. What else do you want? Ooh, let's go for Rocks Off by the Rolling Stones. That's a good song. Exile on Main Street's their best album, Fight Me. Although Hackney Diamonds is their new one, I think it's not too bad. Y'all familiar with Blackberry Smoke? I am not. Modern Standard, nice. Come on. 15. My favorite Southern rock song, and this is proof of me having lived in Texas for a long time. It's ZZ Top, and it's not even close. I like Molly Hatchet too. Like Fall of the Peacemakers is incredible. People fucking sleep on the Outlaws too. In for the overload. Seeing Green Day. You time to kill and eat Eve all at once? No. I'm not paying attention to college football right now. I'm so fucking tired of that shit. Who was here today after Black Crows? Who's that? I had to go home, take care of the dog. Sticking myself. Oof. Wish some of these guys would put some talk to. I need some cuddle time. Bro, I don't know how it is. You're getting all those hot dudes, but man. All right, we got one more set of upright rows, one more set of triceps. We're gonna finish off with the Arnold press and the raises. Really try to put maximum amount of blood into the delts. Started talking to a guy in the UK. He's pretty sexy. I don't know. I'm not bad looking. I don't think. You're not bad at all, bro. But yeah, and you're part of your neck of the woods. Probably not gonna have too much unless you go to a dude ranch. All right. There's something one of my homies was telling me to do for delts. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Do you see it? Now let's talk about leg drive, switch grips, Larson press. Now. Face pull has been great for my delts and rotator cuffs. So yeah, face pulls, I don't really have a way of doing that here. That's the trouble with some of these. Such a weenie when it comes to pain, exhaustion from working out. Yeah, definitely want to work on it. You're gonna need a mindset change. You probably are. I mean, bro, like you're fucking sitting here talking about, all these hot dudes and shit, and that's great. But you gotta make yourself, worth talking to in their eyes. You gotta find a way to do that. Down at the moment, probably gonna end up in Washington, Oregon, or Cali. Yeah. See here. See if I can find it. Bodegas. Nope. All right. I have to ask him. That sucks. You know what? I'm gonna ping him in here. Let's see if he pop. Let's see if he replies. That one's interesting. I definitely want to. I think we'll need to if I want to get into an LTR. Exactly, right? You know, this is something I like talking about when it comes to dating. So it's about standards, right? I don't think it's right to hold someone else to standards you're not willing to hold yourself to. So if you want to date someone in good shape, you need to be in good shape. If you're willing to date someone who's, you know, not in good shape, well, then you don't have to be in good shape. Me personally, lifting's a huge part of my lifestyle. So, you know, being in good physical shape doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a lifter, but you're going to have some sort of passion that involves physical activity. Otherwise, that's a major compatibility issue. And I don't think that's a reasonable expectation to have. I'm not saying thou shalt bench 315 or I'm not interested in you. I'm saying thou shalt be interested in physical fitness in some way. I think that's a very reasonable expectation to have. We're attracted to physical appearance first, the rest happens after. Yeah, most of the time. 9 days until Christmas. Yes, that's right, Dodge. 10 at the moment. Yeah, there we go. Definitely have my fair share of playing with guys who are in great shape. Lucky you. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. In general, it's about expectation. If you want to date someone in good shape, you know, if you want to date the dude who's got a six-pack of abs and, you know, you're completely out of shape, you know, you're a twig boy, or, you know, you could stand to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, well then yeah, that's a problem. That's a compatibility issue, and it's going to come up later in the relationship. Trust me, I know on this one. It's not to say it can't work, but it will throw a wrench in your plans. And especially if it's a diet thing, right? If you're in a long-term relationship with someone who doesn't treat their body well, with someone who doesn't eat right, they'll often bring in junk food to the house. They'll often bring in, you know, they'll often go out and, you know, want to go and eat really unhealthy food. Or, you know, they'll even, you know, it's something nice, you know, it might end up making you something that definitely makes it harder for you to hit your gains and your goals and all that. So it's difficult. Being fat is not as good in the gay world. That is very true. Isn't the old saying, straight guy skinny is gay guy fat? Isn't that the old hatchet? We got a new follow. Thank you very much. Mattman6789. Oh, welcome. Be the person you want to date. In a lot of ways, yeah. It's really just, you know, you can't be delusional. You cannot have expectations that you yourself do not match up to. Had this convo with a smoking hot 41-year-old girlfriend this week. She's fit. She wants a fit man. Exactly. Well, ATD, I guess that means you know what you got to do. Got a lot of guys like twinks. Yeah. See, that one's interesting to me. A lot of gay guys do tend to go for more feminine dudes, especially like if you're a top in the gay world. And I found that interesting that you would. I mean, like you can tell. It's like, why is the word bussy popular? And it's not just a meme. I mean, it's partially a meme, but like, why is that? You know, you got the interest in more feminine looking dudes if you're a gay dude, you know, and especially if you're a gay top. So why is that the case? I think there's a lot of truth to the idea that sexuality is a spectrum. I think there are people who are 100% straight, and I think there are people who are 100% gay. But you can be attracted to either masculine or feminine traits in a male or female body, you know? They probably like the submissiveness. Sure, but you can have a submissive guy who's not necessarily... I don't think submissive and effeminate have to be the same thing. I mean, you got power bottoms and such. Twinkies may be nice for a snack, but I prefer a full, satisfying meal. I wish she's like my sister. Insert Roll Tide joke here. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. You know, I know you're an FSU fan, but you sounded a whole lot like an Alabama fan when you say she's like my sister. I couldn't help it. That joke was too obvious. I couldn't not make it. All right, let's get a little Def Leppard going. Let's go Animal by Def Leppard. But yeah, it's about compatibility, and you have to know what you want. And if there's a partner, that you're interested in, but you've got to explain what your expectations are. And as long as they're not completely delusional, again, you're in bad shape and you expect your partner to be in great shape, I think it's totally fair. You cannot expect from your partner what you're not willing to give yourself. There's got to be reciprocity. It's got to be, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be transactional, but it does, you need to be the person your partner is interested in. All right. All right, we got, let's see, one more set on upright rows, one more set on tries. I don't think this is so much that, but expectations are what's important. Did you say he's hot? Doesn't mean I'm attracted to him, but I recognize good looks. I think that's something that needs to go away. It's the stigma that guys can't comment on other guys being handsome, that immediately being assumed is super gay. Like, I think that's one where I think masculinity, we need to take a little check. You can say, dude, that guy looks good without immediately being assumed to be gay. That needs to change. Seeing couples who aren't the same level of fitness, that's true, and I'm not saying it can't work, but it's about the expectations. I'm saying what you cannot do is expect something from your partner that you are not willing to give yourself. That's what it's about. It's about what your partner wants and being that person. I know for me, be it masculine or feminine, being in physical fitness, being in shape is rapidly becoming a non-negotiable for me for dating. It has to happen. I need that in my life if I'm going to date you. All right, here we go. Thanks for the follow, Ann Obong. 1, 2. Strong like bull. Let's go. Oh. There we go. 15. All right. Triceps, and then we're going to move on to our final few sets. That's the expectation of the other person. Yeah. I think, again, it's the same thing. I don't mean to single out women for this, but I see it a lot more often with women than I do for men, to be blunt. If you are a woman and you want the 6'4", 6-pack, alpha male who's making $200,000 a year, you need to have something that sets yourself apart from all the other women to get that guy's attention. If you want a top 1% guy, you're probably going to have to be a top 1% girl. And you need to be brutally honest and compare yourself to other women and figure out if that's what you are. You can't just, if you say, I'm a 10, but you're not bringing anything that a 10 would bring to the table, you're delusional. You have to be honest about where you are as far as what kind of catch you are. And everyone can find ways to improve themselves, myself included. I'm not perfect. I've got a lot of improvements to make. We all do. But if you say I'm perfect just the way I am, first off, that's a huge red flag. To me, that's narcissism. You can't take an honest look in your mirror and say, I can improve X, Y, and Z. If you can't do that, then that's automatically a no-no for me. I don't care what gender you are. If you are at that level of, if you are that self-confident, that's where self-confidence blends into narcissism. That's the no-go zone. And I'll put it to you this way. If you truly were at that level of greatness or excellence in something, you'd know. You would be a world champion powerlifter, for instance, if you were that strong.
There's a very big difference too between being mean to someone and being honest to someone. Blowing smoke up someone's ass is mean as well. And beauty is subjective. You can be beautiful at any size. You cannot be healthy at any size. There is a difference there. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm sure if you've got, smoker's lung and you're 400 pounds, someone will think you're beautiful. There's 8 billion people on this planet, but you're not healthy if that's what you are. There's the other thing. Yeah, there's levels to it, right? Talk about being overweight. If you've got a few extra curves, there's a very big difference between that and being, morbidly obese, right? The solid 6 and I'm okay with it. You see that why it's impairing. It's not a power dynamic shift. Fit dudes are just dating heavier women for a long time. It's not a change in dating pool dynamics. Well, you got to remember too, it's also laws of statistics. The obesity rates are really high in this country, especially down here in the South. The obesity rate is near 50%. So, at some level, there is a statistical probability you are going to have, what is the average looking like? Who's going to date who? Lennon, I would definitely, if you want my honest opinion, from what I know about you, you're an intelligent dude, you got your career together, you're getting in better shape in the gym, you're reasonably tall. I would give you probably either a 6 or a 7. I definitely think you stay on your track in the gym, you're probably trending towards 7 to 8 territory, so keep it up. If you want me to judge myself, I'll absolutely do it for you. I'll break it down, okay? Right? Average height in the United States is 5'9". I'm 6'3". That's going to give me a point. So that puts me at from 5 to 6 right there, right? Average dude, probably a little bit less. In fact, I know, definitively less in shape than I am. I have a lot more muscle in my frame, probably less fat too. So it's going to bump me to a 7. The fact that I'm making the money that I'm making, I already own a home, I would probably call myself an 8 based on those amounts. Now, you can say, but you've got some holes in your game. I would say I probably do. I feel like I'm a little bit, I don't want to say I got a touch of the tism, but I feel like, being that sort of nerdy, engineering kind of person, I definitely feel like that probably takes away. I have no riz. I don't think I'm very smooth. So that probably bumps me back down. I would guess if I was going to rate myself, honestly, I'd call myself between a 7 and an 8. That's my own definition. So if you guys can agree or disagree on that methodology. By the way, it's a bell curve, okay? Most people are 4s, 5s, or 6s. Most people are 4s, 5s, or 6s. That is the statistical definition of an average. The 1 to 10 scale is a bell curve, right? You have the most people in 4, 5, and 6 by definition. You're going to have some people in 7s, some people in 3s, a few people in 8s, a few people in 2s. 1s, 0s, 9s, and 10s are extremely rare. Don't expect to find them very often. Solid 8 to 9. Definitely have a scotiatism. Dude, I feel like most engineers have are either on the spectrum or very, very near the spectrum. I feel like it's one of those two things. I feel like it's any of those really, really right-brain or left-brain sort of careers. Computer scientists, data scientists, engineers, statisticians, guys who deal with a lot of that really acidic upper body or, above the brain kind of mathy shit, Physics guys, mathematicians. In general, I feel like the highest likelihood in terms of career of being a 10 are probably your doctors and surgeons. 1, because obviously you're making shit tons of money. But 2, a good doctor has a really good bedside manner. That's a form of riz, right? That's a form of charisma. That means, if you're a doctor in your day-to-day operations, in your job, you're going to be practicing getting really good at talking to people you don't already know and making them feel good. that is super useful. There's a reason, again, surgeons and doctors fucking poll, right? And that's regardless of gender, by the way. I think both men and women, if they hear doctor, they're usually like, oh yeah? I feel like if you're a doctor or you're a surgeon, that's an automatic +1, minimum. Might be more. I think engineer is a +0 because on one hand, you get the +1 of a high salary, but you get the -1 of social awkwardness because most engineers, myself included, are socially awkward. I think that's a fair thing to say, you know? I think a lot of people don't like that kind of bluntness, but you know, that's their problem. If you're a train nerd, that's amazing. I mean, yeah, exactly. I think, see, but, right, I think, and this is different from guys to girls. Train nerd, probably a +1 for guys, even for gay guys. Train nerd, definite -1 for women. Women see that shit and they're like, why? Women, I don't think, I've seen a video about this actually. There's a rail fanner who just goes absolutely nuts for an old diesel engine coming down the track, blowing the horn. And like, there's a woman watching that video and the woman's like, I don't understand why men do this. You know, for instance, from Texas too. Hey, good to see you work out with Chris. Welcome to the bullpen. Good to have you. How can you tell a social engineer from a non-social engineer? Social engineer, oh, look at your shoes when they talk to you. So it's funny. I had to learn this trait coming back from living overseas. So I used to live in Japan. It's a very introverted culture relative to the United States. The Japanese believe that making eye contact is condescending. It means you're belittling the person. Whereas in the States, you know, eye contact is a sign of respect. So I had to work on that, and it was really difficult. Mechanic is a +1, doesn't earn as much money, can save their partner a lot of money from auto repairs and negotiating car purchase amounts. Depends on who you're talking to, I think, with mechanic. Definitely for guys it is, because guys are usually into cars. Bet you anything there's a sexy woman train nerd? Yes, I bet there's probably one out of the 8 billion people on this earth. But I bet you, relative to the number of train nerd men out there, the number of train nerd women is extremely small, and the number of sexy train nerd women is even smaller. It's a numbers game. It's a statistics game. Because, right, realistically, in your life, you're only going to meet maybe... the average person is probably going to meet somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 people total in their life. And by meet, I mean, you know, have a small conversation with. That's the total number, right? So you gotta factor that in. Mechanic is a one guy. Yeah, sales guys like that one. Electrical engineers don't like it. That's funny. Much love to the wire weenies. I don't like electrical. Electrical shit to me is that's the do not touch magic zone. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I love to give the wire weenies crap, but I couldn't do their job, and I don't want to do their job. No, I got respect for the double E's, but I will call them wire weenies because it's funny. And then the best part is the electrical engineers hate the term wire weenie, but they respect it because they haven't been able to come up with a better, like a comeback insult for mechanical guys like that. I feel like mechanical engineers are close to the social end of the spectrum. Well, I'm so I got a mechanical engineering degree from my university, that's A&M, but I work in the nuclear industry now, so you can call me a mechanical engineer, you can call me a nuclear engineer, both kind of apply. First week in the industry, I got 2 pieces of advice. When in doubt, hands in pocket. Yeah. Hedy Lamarr was a gorgeous and a huge nerd. I wouldn't mind a nerd whispering in my ear about the trains while we do the choo-choo. I feel like, again, nerdiness is probably slightly more okay in terms of, I think on average, and again, I'm speaking in very broad terms here. You know, there are individual people, and individual people will have individual tastes. But I think in general, sort of, what is nerdiness, right? Nerdiness to me is a fascination about a topic more than the average person. And the topic is, semi-obscure. It's not something that most people are that interested in. You know, car guys are nerds, right? Train spotters are nerds. Computer nerds, right? You've got, and sports fans. People who are super into sports fans, they're nerds too. It's just they're nerdy about a jock topic. They're nerdy about something that's different. Nerdiness comes in different ways, right? You could argue I'm a nerd about bodybuilding and fitness, for instance. You know, guys who are super into investing, they're nerds too. That's sort of what nerdiness is about having a passion and being able to geek out about that passion and talk. You know, you could have a 4-hour conversation about that passion and never ever come close to feeling like you're getting bored. It's that sort of thing. Two guys die, the old and young. Young, you don't know any better. Old stopped respect. Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, so we're gonna do a burnout set here in effect. I'm gonna do a set of Arnold press, I think with 50, a set of front raises standing, a set of side raises standing, and then probably Arnold press with either 40 or 30. We're gonna see how we're feeling. That's gonna be tough. I gotta get the right song for this. Oh, popping my spine. Oh. Now, one other thing y'all should know, when I'm talking about dating advice, take anything I'm saying with a massive grain of salt, because I have lived in the dating Sahara for the last 3 years and the dating Sonoran Desert for the 3 years before that. I have very minimal dating experience and my body count is extremely low for what maybe a guy of this physique and this height and this stature you might assume it is. My minimum voltages were 480, maxed out at 38 kilovolts. Most power words don't get to voltages that high. Oh, that's, yeah, you're in the happy fun. If you touch the wrong thing, you're getting electrocuted, you're gone level of voltage. That's the kickstart my heart voltage, ain't it? Actually, speaking of, that's the perfect song for me to do this too. So get a little Motley Crue going. Yep, no second chances. But you want to talk about a great career? Go be a lineman. Go be an electrician. They make good money. You have to know what the fuck you're doing, but you will learn as long as you get the training right. And to work on electric, high voltage electric stuff like that, you're going to get trained. You have to get licensing, all that stuff. So, anyway, requested a hydrate an hour ago. I did, but just in case. Lineman is a great career for sure. Linemen make good money, but it's not a sexy career, right? You hear linemen, if you go and you're dating someone, you say you're a lineman, I don't think it's not like surgeon. It's not a +1, I don't think it's necessarily a -1 either, especially if you're dating like a country kind of person. Usually a lot of those blue collar skilled jobs will give you a lot more pull in a more rural or more conservative or traditional dating setting than if you're in a big city. If you're in a big city and you say you're a welder or a pipe fitter or an electrician or a lineman, usually I don't think that's gonna play as well. That's just an observation though. All right, let's do this, come on. Strong like bull. Come on, 12. Come on. Switch. 40s. Come on. Going one, ain't my heart. Kickstart my heart. Oh, triceps are locking up. Fuck. kickstart my heart.
Come on. Come on. Don't quit. Don't quit.
Just another cut. My heart. Fuck. God. I gotta give myself more time. Oh, my delts are shot. There's only 5 that 6 rep don't count. I need to give myself one more time. Oh, fuck, that's killing me. Come on, finish. Finish. Come on. $15. We did all this too. Come on. Oh, fuck. Woohoo! I need more time. I gotta rest. Come on. 8. Come on, 12. Oh. Oh, my shoulders are shot. You know what? I didn't like the way it finished. Burn out another set of side raises. That's it. I'm done. Oh God, my shoulders. Oh, man, they're on fire right now. I can feel them burning. Like physically, they're really warm too. They're hot to the touch. All right, that'll be it for the workout. So, now we're on the Q&A side. Whew. Good workout though. Good workout. Yeah, I feel the pain in my shoulders. That's good. It's not like injury pain, it's just soreness pain. Oh, okay. Gotta breathe. Oh my God. Woo. That's good work. Delt's gonna be feeling it for the rest of the day. But it looked pretty good though. That slabs of meat there. You see them creases in the front delts. Trap's looking good. Redeem the pec mounts, all right. Ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 ba ba da 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 ba da. Doing this kickstart my heart. When I get high on speed. Someone else is a drug for me, my heart. Yeah, kickstart my heart. There you go.
Feeling pretty decent. Ooh, that's actually a good idea, a little cool down. Go real lightweight. 10 pounds. Ooh, I've got an idea. Let's show y'all what that looks like from the back. Yo, Mikey, tell me how my back looks, all right? Yeah. See, 61 degrees in here now. It's not bad. I mean, anyone else can opine if they wish to. No, I like the compliments. Okay, so this is kind of cool. This is something interesting perhaps y'all might be curious about. So, when I'm lifting, and when I'm not lifting, the amount of blood going into my forearms and my hands and my wrists, right? Because I'm gripping something. Blood's coming down here. When that happens, muscles tense up in the forearms and wrists. My wrist gets bigger. So typically, right, let's see if I can get it zoomed in here. Right, when I am, relaxed, I can get 5 holes in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But right now that's super tight. So I'm gonna go with 4. And I've noticed this the most on biceps. Nothing is more satisfying, and it's the way I know I'm getting a really good pump. Like, I'm not getting a pump today because I didn't do buys today, but when I get a really good pump, right, I can see the bicep vein starting to pop here. I notice, especially like when I'm doing preacher curls as well, I notice just how much bigger my wrist gets. It's so satisfying to be like, oh, it's getting too tight. Gotta loosen it 1 notch. You ever watch us get a weird rash? Try a different band. If you find that resin bands give you the rash, try leather. If you find that leather gives you a rash, try metal, and make sure you're cleaning it fairly regularly. That'll help. Fact is where you should never propose during a physically strenuous activity. That ring ain't gonna fit. Facts. Unless you've oversized the ring. I can't wear anything smart. If I could, I'd consider getting something like a Garmin Instinct, maybe a Sunto or something, but I can't, so I gotta keep things old-fashioned. This thing works great, so. I could use some water. I'm gonna see if the others in chat. See if I can get her to be an awesome roommate and get me a glass of water. I got a couple extra empty cups out here. But yeah, then the ring won't fit when not being physically active. I mean, not really. What you do is a little bit of finger exercises and such. Plus, people's hands get a little bit fatter as they age. So I ordered my Aggie ring a size too large. I have it. I could put it on, but why can't you? Apple Watch and Pixel Watch are really good for fitness enthusiasts alike. It's because I'm a nuclear engineer. I work at a nuclear site where anything with Bluetooth is not allowed in my work area. So that means no Apple, no Samsung, no Garmin, none of those fitness-oriented ones. And the Garmin Instinct's the one I really like because it's got a lot of the great fitness tools and gear, but it's still kind of built to be tough and rough and ready. It's still kind of got that, that form over, that function over form style. And that's why I've always liked the G-Shock, because these things are built like tanks. This thing's solar powered. I'm not gonna have to fuck with it for 10 plus years. And it's still got, I could still get sunrise, sunset, and temp and altimeter and barometer and all this shit, and it works too. When the barometer alarm goes off on this, that means usually within 30 minutes it's gonna rain. Get up to 170 on depression and anxiety meds and not wear it well. Back to Lexapro, only lost it all without doing anything crazy. Can't say I can relate. I don't know what that means because I don't use depression and anxiety meds. Yeah, when I was a package handler, FedEx didn't allow us to bring our phones in. Well, this one's a federal regulation. In any limited area, you can't even put government phones in there, I don't think. I don't have a government phone, but I can't have anything Bluetooth. I can't have anything wireless. Like, I can't even bring in a wireless mouse. Just not allowed to do it. So no health bands, fitness, anything like that. If I did, though, I would consider something like a Garmin Instinct. I think the Instinct is a pretty good piece. The other thing, too, I like is a lot of watches, and Apple watches are the worst at this. Their batteries go flat so quickly that like every 2 years you've got to replace them. And planned obsolescence pisses me off in general. I think Apple does it worse than most other companies and gets away with it more. Whereas, you know, this is like the Toyota Land Cruiser of watches. It's big, it's ugly, and it's never going to stop working. Like, it's you get an old Toyota Land Cruiser, that fucker is going to last as long as you do. It's not going to do it in a pretty style. It may not be the most modern. It may not be the most luxurious, but it will endure. And that's generally a pretty admirable trait. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Toyota Land Cruisers, they are all made in Japan. My cousin doesn't even think depression and ADHD is real. No, ADHD is real, depression is real, but I think in today's culture, we have made, unfortunately, we have made mental illness trendy, and that's not a good thing either. I think people are trying to find ways to make themselves seem disadvantaged, and that's not good. What's good? Mr. Potatoes, back after 6 months, low-key gained 15, 20 pounds of muscle after hearing you for a bit. Let's go. That's my favorite comment of today. I love hearing that. When people have come back and said, yo, you know, you helped me with this, that, or the other, and I went out and made improvements in my own life. Thank you very much for coming back and coming and letting me know that. That is the thing that motivates me to continue streaming more than anybody else. Thank you so much. It's real, chemical imbalances on the neuro level. I'm working to get off that shit, but I did have a time where I needed the assist. Exactly. Well, and that's fine. You know, there are reasons to take antidepressant or anxiety meds. I'm not villainizing or demonizing anyone who does that, but I do think our culture has made mental illness trendy. In the same way that, frankly, it has made LGBT trendy. Now, a large part of that is because LGBT is getting more accepted in the United States. But if you look at the number of each generation that is identifying as some form of LGBT, it's getting like to 1 in 5 on the newest generation. And I'm not sure 1 in 5 Americans of any generation really are LGBT. I think what has happened is that you've gotten to this point where being LGBT is seen as trendy, and especially I think this is a problem among white Americans, is it's seen as a way to get out of being, you know, seen as the big bad white cis oppressor, you know, the white male cis oppressor or whatever. And I've seen comments before that say, you know, stuff like take bi, for instance, right? A lot of people say bi people are the white people of the gay community. What the fuck is that supposed to mean, right? Like, you know, it's shit like that. SSRI is cool for me. SNRI, not at all. But it's that same sort of, it's that same sort of thing. I think mental illness should neither be stigmatized nor should it be trendy. But the idea that, again, having mental disease is trendy. I think most people with mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, all that stuff, I don't think most people want to have that. Like, if you really do have depression, anxiety, you would do probably quite a lot to make that, you know, just magically wipe it away or go away overnight. It's the same thing. It's the same sort of cultural sickness that I see when people get angry at Mr. Beast for, helping the blind people see. It's like, the fuck? No, stop trying to make having disabilities trendy. We should be trying to cure disabilities. That's the goal, right? Right? That should be what we're aiming for. You look like Marvin the Italian Dream Vittori. Well, there's nothing Italian about me. I'm 6'3", and my Italian accent is awful. My attempt at an Italian accent, anyway. I feel like you're probably right. People have to support that stuff in real daily. I'm all about supporting that. Exactly, but that's the trouble. When you have people who are doing it because it's trendy, it dilutes the amount of sympathy and the amount of caring we can give to the people who really do have the issue. It bothers me. So, if you've got depression and anxiety, hey, more power to you. Do the best you can. But for the love of God, people, stop making mental illness trendy. That's so fucked up. I hate people being biphobic. It's pervasive within straight and gay people, and it's disgusting. What's funny, too, what's really funny is how biphobia, and I don't think it's biphobia, I think it's just, I hate the term phobia, because nobody's fucking homophobic. Nobody's fucking scared of gay people. Gay people aren't scary. No, people hate gay people, right? People hate bi people. It's not fucking phobia. I've never liked that term, right? Nobody is, if you are racist against black people, you're not Afrophobic. No, you're just fucking racist. It's the same thing with if you demonize the gay community, you're not fucking homophobic. You just hate gay people, which is fucked up. But as far as biphobia is concerned, if we have to use that term, what I think is funny is how it applies to women versus how it applies to men. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Afrophobic seems really fucking like that. It doesn't make sense. I mean, and what's funny is there's probably among people who are bigoted against minorities, against black people, there's probably more fear there than people who are bigoted against gay people, if I had to take a guess. Phobia means fear. Fear, right. See, fear to me, when I think of phobia, I think it means fear. I don't think it means hate or prejudice. Afro scare me, I'm losing my hair. I can't trust a flat top. You get what I'm trying to say, though. I think hatred starts from fear. I don't think that's always the case. It can, it doesn't have to. But as far as bigotry against bi people, it's very interesting how it applies to women versus how it applies to men. The stereotype, I think, of people who are bigoted against bi people tend to treat bi women like they're traitors to the cause, especially if they happen to be dating a man. They get treated as not really LGBT. They get treated as, let's just drop the B from LGBT already. And then for men, it's, you're just you're just gay and you just don't want to say it. Like, it's so different. It's so different. Like the stereotype seems to be a lot of people who don't like bi women judge the bi women as straight and trying to blend in. People who don't like bi men judge the bi men as gay and trying to blend in. I find that difference extremely interesting. Female pattern baldness is real. More people should know about it. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Yoda. That's fair. I just thought that was funny. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I feel like phobia is not the right word. I just think it's, but I guess there's no better way to say it. Male pattern baldness is okay. Well, that's the other thing too. As far as baldness is concerned, you have to be the right type of, in terms of the dating market. I think baldness can be sexy. I think covering up baldness reveals insecurity, and that's extremely unsexy. So if you're going bald, fucking own it. Don't be one of these people who gets a fucking really shitty comb over. Because what that projects is I'm insecure about the fact that I'm going bald. You can't control that, not really.
unless you want to get hair transplants like, Elton John did. And if you're doing that, you're spending a lot of money for what is ultimately vanity. But I would say, own the fact that you're going bald. Steer in the look, and most people, there are tons of good-looking bald dudes out there, Love it when people accept their baldness. Taco Bell is, oh God. Having worked for Taco Bell in the past, I refuse to say your username, but thanks for the first time, chat. My grandfather, that is far from okay. Again, I am not a huge fan of covering up anything about yourself. Whenever I see, it's the same thing as someone, it's about being artificial. It's about being fake. If you are covering something up, it usually indicates an insecurity about that thing. And when that's the case, usually it means that insecurity is going to affect your personality negatively. To me, that's a good way to lower your dating market value. That's a -1 if you want an example. It's easy to be LGBT when you don't have to be gay, bi, or lesbian. A lot of people nowadays are still identifying trans or NB, but in some cases are still privileged and like opposite sexes if they experience the same oppression as me. Gay marriage is not on the chopping block of this new SCOTUS because we're swinging the pendulum so far left the country's debating normalities. So this is an interesting one. I do believe that the challenges, I really don't like talking about identity politics, and this is basically an identity politics statement. So I don't like to talk about this, but in general, and I don't really care about identity politics very much. I really don't, because living here in the Deep South, this is the heart of the Bible Belt here, and gay people are doing just fine, all things considered. Is it socially acceptable here the same way that it is in a place like San Francisco? Fuck no. But are they being oppressed? No. As far as, I think I think the term is intersectionality, which is a statement that says the struggles of all oppressed people are interrelated and they're the same, and that's bullshit. The struggles of racial minorities do not equal the struggles of people who are gay, do not equal the struggles of people who are lesbian, do not equal the struggles of people who are trans. They are different issues and need to be treated differently. I'm not saying that one is valid and one is invalid, but I'm saying that they need to be given nuance based on their individual circumstances. And the idea that you can just lump in, and that this is, honestly, even the LGBT, I don't even like the term LGBT because the issues lesbians have are not the same as the issues gays have, are not the same as issues bis have, are not the same as issues trans have, and so on and so forth. They're not the same issue, and the people who want to lump them all into one group of oppressed often do not represent the values of any of the individual groups and have an ulterior agenda. Can I interest you with a Danny DeVito quote? Fucking send it, brah. Yeah, sure. Gay marriage is not on the chopping block. I think that's a little bit of an overreaction at this point. Something like 70+% of Americans at least tolerate, if not outright support, gay marriage. And yes, the pendulum will swing back. I think the pendulum has gone far too far to the social progressivism side. And a lot of that is done on the political left. I think they are going to suffer for it in the coming 10 years. But at the same time, I don't think we're going to reverse the clock to pre-2015 norms when it comes to gay marriage. Because what has been shown is that, again, it's different, right? Gay marriage and trans rights are two different issues and they need to be treated differently. I'm not saying one side is right or one side is wrong. I'm saying there are two different issues. Gay marriage is splitting the Methodist Church right now. I'm Catholic, so, my religion believes that homosexuality is a sin. I identify as bisexual and I am Catholic. I have to reconcile that. That's my business, though. That is business between myself and the church God. That's my problem. That's not society's problem. I'm not going to demand society to change to make me feel more accepted. I'm not going to do that. Do not, oh God. I want to look into stream elements depending on your POV on what's going on over there. I'm on Team Lockheed Martin. Stonks. Okay. I had to say that deadpan. But as far as the Methodist Church is concerned, well, there's only one thing the Protestants know how to do correctly, and that's divide themselves. Y'all have been doing that for what, 500 years? Look, we in the Catholic Church, we're one big fucking dysfunctional family, but we stick together, damn it. You guys, Protestantism will divide itself over the smallest fucking thing. I mean, there are differences between Protestant branches and Protestant denominations that are so piddling relative to the overwhelming acceptance that you believe Christ is the Son of God, that it really begs the question, are you sure you couldn't have found a way to work this out without separating yourselves? What the hell are y'all doing? Again, us Catholics, we're loud, we're obnoxious, and we're dysfunctional, but we stick together, damn it. Ozo Nenk. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. This is why I hate the term LGBT. I'd argue the T is causing issues for some of the letters, most notably the G. In the 90s, the hot issue was gayness and evolution. 2022 is trans people and climate change. Well, okay, so climate change is completely unrelated to anything related to LGBT. Those are two completely unrelated issues. And climate change is a very real issue. I mean, frankly, we've known about it since the 70s. As far as rights are concerned for gay people or for trans people, you've got to remember, okay, that in this country, there were states that had anti-sodomy laws, not anti-gay marriage, anti-sodomy, anti-gay sex laws on the books until 2003. That was only 20 years ago. So we went from anti-sodomy laws being on the books in 2003 to full gay marriage being the law of the land in 2015. That is a massive jump in only 12 years. Society does not change that quickly. Society changes its cultural mores on a generational time basis. In other words, if you are expecting society to, overwhelmingly just change its mind on social issues over the course of a matter of, months to years, it's just not realistic. That's not going to happen. All of these issues are going to take time. They're going to take explanation. They're going to take communicating with people you do not disagree with to explain your position and to understand theirs. True, but also a few years ago, abortions were legal. Abortions are an entirely different and separate issue than gay marriage, or an entirely different and separate issue than trans rights. People like to lump all of these issues together, and I don't think that's the right way to do things. Because that creates tribalism. You should be able to be pro-life, pro-gay marriage, and pro-trans rights, or anti-trans rights, pro-choice, and no opinion on gay marriage. You should be allowed to have different opinions based on your own backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences. That's an okay thing to have. That's what makes America great. It's about free speech. From the late 90s on is crazier than one might think. One of my best girlfriends was a 65-year-old lesbian Republican. We have some interesting combos, but the history of acceptance is super interesting to talk about. Exactly, yeah, and Mikey, you're right, things do change. But I think what I have found is that, especially with social issues, if you try to force the changes on society too quickly in a way that society is not ready for, you're going to get backlash. And when you get that backlash, it can ultimately do more harm to the movement than making those pushes was going to give benefits to the movement. Wait, you're Catholic. Are you familiar with Richard Rohr? Dude is a G. I'm not. I can Google him though. Let's find out. I do not know who Richard Rohr is. Let's see here. Richard Rohr.
an American Franciscan priest and writer on spirituality based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So he's about spirituality. That's interesting. So let's see what his views are. Alternative orthodoxy. Following Jesus is the best shortcut to salvation, but one does not necessarily have to practice formal Christianity. The key is to fall in love with the divine presence under whatever name. People are delusioned with conservative churches that teach non-believers and followers of non-Christian religions go to hell. Additionally states, I'm not trying to be some new age liberal who flattens the universe out. Quite the contrary, I'm trying to invite people to the depth of things, and I still encourage people to be loyal to their primary tradition, to go deep in one place, if I've often put it. I think that's an interesting concept. It's funny you mention that, because Pope Francis has been asked on this. You know, what happens to people who have never heard the word of Christ? What happens to people who are not raised in a Christian environment, you know, but are otherwise people that Jesus would have, you know, fucked with, people that Jesus would have been, you know, cool with, you know, people that they acted on the teachings of Christ, even though they may not necessarily have believed that Christ is the Son of God. And Pope Francis has had some very interesting discussions on that, and his discussions versus what a lot of the rest of the church believes are a difference that the Catholic Church is having some butting of the heads about. But guess what? The Catholic Church isn't splitting apart like you fucking Protestants are. Get good. Literally, skill issue. Stay together, Protestants. I've moved left as I've gotten older, despite what boomers said would happen. Well, I mean, it's Winston Churchill said that's a quote that far outlives what the boomers were saying. Winston Churchill said that he who is right-wing at age 20 has no heart. He who is left-wing at age 40 has no brain. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it is a nice little quip that does generally tend to state that people get more, maybe not even conservative, but a bit more reactionary as they get older. And there are some reasons for this. There's also the fact that society over time has become, at least here in the West in the past 200 to 300 years, progressive with every more generation. It's become more socially progressive, more socially accepting, a little bit more socially open, right? Those are things that the norms you experienced, let's say you're 50 years old. So you grew up in the 80s and the 90s. The norms you experienced in the 80s and the 90s are very different from the norms you experience, from what the norms are today. You know, for instance, in the 80s and the 90s, if you were going to call someone a word starting with F that is also synonymous with a bundle of sticks, I'm not saying it because I think it's against Twitch's terms of service, but if you called someone that was a far more socially acceptable thing to do in 1990 than it is today. Well, I'm 10 years younger than that. I would say things are wildly different. You get the point, though. You get where I'm getting after. It's not realistic to ban things. Okay, here we go. You need a really good reason to ban something. You need to legalize something. Everything should be neutral. BullMuscle isn't law in Alabama. You can't fuck a raccoon because someone tried doing that. That's what legislation is good for, other than society saying do that for no reason. Yeah, so, you know, the anti-sodomy laws were, exactly, they made no sense. Because who the fuck is going to actually enforce that? The only way you're going to enforce that is having someone, you know, basically tattle to the government about it and say, hey, government, I don't like what X is doing in the privacy of their own home. Ban it, you know, punish them. Which is really fucking stupid. A British cigarette. Yeah, there you go. But you get the point, right? What I'm saying is societal mores and norms change over time, and that is going to be a generational effect. It's not people who want to see, you know, the people who agitate for social change in the short term are going to be perpetually disappointed because that's just not how society operates. Society operates on a much longer term in terms of social changes. Another example is, like, take the protests of the 60s, right? A lot of the protests in the 60s, first it was about civil rights, right? It was, you know, early and mid 60s, it was about giving black people, giving minorities true equality in the sense of removing things like Jim Crow in the South, removing things like, even further back, Brown versus Board of Education, right? Integrating schools, you know, things like busing, right? All of that, that was early and mid 60s. The 60s went along and you got things like anti-war protesters, the free love movement, the wider acceptance of drug use, and then the backlash to that. The wider acceptance of drug use was really the big one.
by 1968, that had caused a backlash amongst Americans who saw that as moral degeneracy and voted in a candidate who would be against that sort of tolerance and acceptance in the form of Richard Nixon. That's just as an example. Just like Utah's anti-abortion laws. Yeah, Alabama sucks. I want to ride an elephant down to Main Street. And on certain parts, that's illegal. Exactly. I can't stand laws like that. Unnecessary laws bother me because it just makes enforcing them a lot more difficult. And it makes, especially, this is where you get into, drug laws, for instance, right? Drug laws waste, I think some of the people who are most against the drug laws I've talked to are policemen because it wastes their time. They have to be busy, searching people for weed instead of taking on, theft and taking on burglaries and taking on rapes and taking on murders and the real crimes that happen in this country. Sometimes society needs a strong push. For example, I think we would have seen less developed on the gay rights if the Stonewall riots had not happened. I tend to agree, but let's take a look at that, right? The Stonewall riots happened in 1969. We did not see the first state legalize gay marriage until, 2000? That was 31 years. The criminal system commits the number one sin for bull, wasting money. Damn right, it's bad for business. Putting people in jail is a terrible waste of both human capital on the labor side, and it's a terrible waste of government money because the government has to pay to keep people incarcerated. It's a huge waste of money. Every cop I know will not F with weed under an ounce. That one it is different depending on where you live. I gotta take a quick leak. Go ahead and throw in y'all's final questions. It can be about anything, comments about financial independence, it can be about lifting, it can be about diet, it can be about anything you want to talk about. I'll answer them and we'll probably look to rate, okay? I have to pee though. Oh. It's time. God damn. This is the only issue with trying to talk so much is, you end up having to talk a lot and that dries out your mouth, dries out your throat, so you're drinking a lot more water. You combine that with all the breathing that you're doing while lifting, and that means you're going to end up pissing a lot. Not much you really do about it. It's just kind of a reality of streaming, I feel like. Ghost Meat, thank you very much for the follow. Don't take that, leave it. Ha, that's a dad joke. They'll not pull you over for doing 9 or less over. The number starts at 10 over. Big difference. Okay, so where I live is, okay, in my town, usually it's 7 over, you're fine, 9 over, you're mine. But on my workplace is a federal nuclear site. If you are going, do not go 55, more than 55. When the speed limit says 55, you fucking go 55. You will get pulled over for doing 56, 57. This is the other thing. People don't understand. It's the culture of safety in the nuclear industry. The way the nuclear industry operates is if you can't do the small things right, driving the speed limit, having your seatbelt on, right? Not texting and driving. How can you be trusted to run anything, with radioactive materials, uranium, plutonium? How can you be trusted to do that safely? So it's very interesting, the different culture that is in effect. I'll put it this way, if you're ever driving along South Carolina Highway 125 and you're on site grounds, go 55. Do not go 56. Seriously, the speed limit actually does mean 55 in federal. On anywhere in the nuclear realm, 55 means 55. Take it seriously. ABB was hardcore on cell phones. No talking and driving, texting would get you fired. Exactly. It's that sort of thing. So let's see who we can raid today. I think. Do we have any other questions? Really, comments, questions, concerns? You can say it about anything. Ask away. I can talk a little bit more. I'm going to read more up on this Richard Rohr fella. He seems like an interesting guy. Oh yeah, that's oh sweet. Somebody updated the raid message. Thanks, Capro. Is that you? Nice. Let's see who we got. Let's see who we got live right now. We've got Celtsy.
Got Bam Bam Zico. I think we're going to raid Celti because he's cool. I like him. How long do you think it takes to get in a good workout? Okay, so I have gotten an excellent workout, an excellent full body workout in as little as like 12 minutes. 2 minutes of resting and prep work and warming up, and then 10 minutes hitting as hard as you can. So, you can get, if you have less time, stuff like HIIT, high intensity interval training workouts are terrific because it'll condense it. Now, if you have more time like me, especially, so now if I'm streaming, I have to talk to audience and stuff like that. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be talking through, and my sets are going to go slower. It's going to be more like 2 hours. But does the cardio 15-second sprint, 15 jog for 3 minutes give you a full workout? No. Cardio is not, to me, cardio is not the same thing as a workout. When you hear workouts is about, that's resistance training. That's lifting weights. To me, there's a difference there. Duracanon, what's good? Well, you caught me at the end of the stream. We were just about to raid someone. Keep trying. My workouts around an hour, so that should be enough time. I would say so. It really depends on what you're doing. What kind of intensity are you looking at? What kind of volume are you looking at? If you're doing something really intense, you're going to have to rest in between more sets to be at your maximum potential for each of the sets that you do. If you're operating at perhaps a little bit lower percentage, you're not going to need as much time to rest. The other thing is, if you're talking to a lot of people, all that talking is going to put a greater strain on your lungs. You're not going to be breathing as much. You're not going to be breathing as deeply. You're not going to recover as quickly, as an instance. So that's a good answer. Andrew, good to see you. So yeah, I think we are going to raid. Now, if you guys want to continue talking to me, it's Saturday. I'm going to be kind of chilling, I had a couple odds and ends to work on today. But I don't have a ton else to do, so I'll probably be hanging out in my Discord a fair amount today. You a Fortnite coach? No, I don't play Fortnite. Bruh. Nope. I spare $59 an hour for a few hours a week. No, I'm afraid not. So we're gonna go ahead and give Celti a raid here. Raid message is Bull Rush. So we're gonna go I do not play Fortnite. I don't have the time. You look like a Fortnite player. Why? I do not play Fortnite. We have Celti, our good friend Celti, a raid. That is going to be it for me today. I'll be live again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. It will be a rest day, so we're going to do a little bit of probably some push-ups, some abs, nothing too intense, and we'll play some games. I play old school RuneScape mostly. I don't play that much in the way of video games. Old school RuneScape is just kind of chill. That's why I like it. Anywho, that's gonna be it for me today. Y'all make good decisions as always. Make good decisions. As good decisions form your habits. As habits form your values. As values form an ethos. You be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Much love, y'all. Come in for the hug. All right, YouTube, it's been good. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.